We're good.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Mayor Chris Villa, and I want to welcome you all to the great city of Holly Hill. We have many guests here in the audience tonight. Welcome to the City Commission chambers. This is the second public hearing of the budget and the millage rate and City Commission meeting of September 26, 2023. I call this meeting to order. Val, please call the roll.
Commissioner Penny?
Here.
Commissioner Curry?
Here.
Commissioner Danio?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Villa?
Here. And at this time, I will ask you all to please stand for the invocation led by Commissioner Danio and continue standing afterwards for the Pledge of Allegiance.
What happened? Oh. Well, God's word tells us to love the Lord with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our mind, and all our strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's considered to be the greatest commandment. Basically, it sums up the original 10 that God gave Moses on Mount Sinai. And there are a lot more verses in there about loving our neighbor, but there's so many more verses in there about praise and worship, praising and worshiping God for who He is, for His infinite wisdom, for His steadfast protection, His eternal love, and so much more. And I know life gets busy sometimes. We often lose sight of that. But I think we need to be mindful of that, especially today. And do you know why, Commissioner Curry?
Why?
Because today, September 26th, is National Praise and Worship Day. Yeah. So let's go to the Lord with the prayer and give Him the praise and worship that He deserves. Let's pray. Lord, we just thank You for being with us most of the time when we don't even know You're right there beside us. And help us to not lose sight of that. Help us to get through this meeting with that wisdom that You have, that You can give us, and help us to be good representatives for our city. Thank You for a couple hours of spirited workshop and the results that came out of it. And God, we just pray for all those on the front lines, the first responders and people that are in day-to-day battle. Put a hedge of protection around them. God, thank You for all the blessings, and be with us tonight. We pray in Your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Danio.
Didn't know there was a National Day.
I didn't know it was National Day of Praise.
Praise and worship.
Every day should be National Day of Praise.
That's what I think, too.
All right, so we're going to move to first on our agenda here tonight is we have public hearings for the final budget and final millage rate for the second hearings. We're going to go ahead and take number one, Resolution 2023-R-51, public hearing for second reading. Mr. Simpson, do you have it in front of you?
Yes, I do. I'm just trying to see what the final numbers are.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've got
We
to
can pause a
actually,
second.
Mayor, we've got to go the other way. We need to talk about the budget first.
Budget first,
Yeah, and then once
Okay.
we reach a conclusion on the budget, then you can go ahead and make a motion on your millage.
based on what we talked about in the workshop.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
So-
Correction, we are now with no objection. We're going to go to number two, which is Resolution 2023-R-52, public hearing for second reading. Mr.
I'm going to actually mix it up for you. What we need to do,
Okay?
you can't approve the budget until you approve the millage. You can't approve the millage until you get a presentation from Michelle to understand what we're going to do. So we're not going to open up any agenda item. We'll have Michelle
Okay.
follow up with the discussion that we left the work session with, and then when she's done, then you'll be able to make your millage motion and then your budget motion.
I appreciate that, Mr. Forte. And just for clarification to the audience here, this is because last-minute changes by the commission to lower our millage rate, which in turn is lowering the tax burden from the first reading. So we had quite a good discussion in our workshop earlier today about that. So we tasked you, our finance director, Michelle, take it away. Tell us where we're at with the changes we made.
Okay, originally we were at 6.25 with 105,000 in contingency, and that included the additional 213,000 in services. Then we discussed going to 5.9, and including the $213,000 in services, we have a deficit of $97,438. At 6.0, we have a deficit of $36,000. And at 6.06, we have everything covered with nothing in contingency. But I would like to point out that I did not estimate any revenue for the new position that we are including.
For the code enforcement position?
Yeah. So not knowing exactly what that revenue is going to be, there should be plenty of revenue in there to cover the shortfall, certainly of the 36,000, potentially of the 90,000. So it's kind of where your comfort level is going to be if you want to approve the budget at 5.9, knowing that there's a deficit of $97,000, but no revenue showing that would come in as a result of that rental housing inspector. You know what those numbers are. They're pretty close to 1,000 rental units already. We haven't determined what that fee would be, but even if it was $100 per unit, you're looking at $100,000 of revenue. So I think we should be safe covering it, and under worst-case scenario, we'd end up having to do a budget amendment later on in the year.
And just for the record, that's where I'm at. I want to see that self-sufficient right away. I believe that we will be able to have that up and running to have the revenues actually pay for that position for the inspector. So that's where I'm at. We are in a commission meeting, but I will open it up for discussion if there's any clarification or questions for finance or for the city manager. Do you have any
I'm
questions?
comfortable with the 5.9.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
With the budget we proposed. So there'll be a deficit of $97,430.
Right, so that'll include the 3 positions and the money set aside for the parks.
Yep.
And then I'll be able to project for you a revenue on the inspection position.
Correct, good. And we can continue that discussion in item 2 when we speak about the budget. We can clarify those things, but we're going to move forward with number 1, which is Resolution 2023-R-51, public hearing for second reading. Mr. Simpson,
I just got one other question. What is the percentage over rollback?
what is the percentage of a rollback, Michelle, at 5.9?
6.05? Okay.
6.05.
Okay. Resolution 2023-R-51 by title only for second and final reading. I'm going to read this in its entirety, not just by title. A resolution of City Commission, City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the final levying of an ad valorem taxes for the City of Holly Hill for the fiscal year 2023-2024, providing for severability and providing for an effective date. Whereas the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, on September 11, 2023, adopted a fiscal year 2023-2024 tentative millage rate following a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. And whereas the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, on September 26, 2023, adopted a fiscal year 2023-2024 final millage rate following a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. Whereas the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, held a public hearing as required by Florida Statute 200.065. Whereas the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt from taxation, Volusia County has been certified by the property appraiser to the City of Holly Hill as $923,655,475. Is that still correct?
No. Do you know the number? Okay. That number actually decreased from a valuation reduction that we received today. Yeah, but that's fine for our public hearing tonight.
All right, so we need to pause there so it can be,
Well, I can continue reading it, then we'll insert in the correct amount.
okay.
If that's okay? Just
Yeah.
to keep things moving. I
Well,
guess.
you're our attorney, so if that's
Yeah.
legally suffice, then we'll go
Yeah,
that
we'll-
way.
We'll plug that in,
Thank you.
because that's probably the least important number. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, Section 1, the fiscal year 2023-2024 final operating millage is 5.900 mils, which is greater than the rollback rate of 5.616 mils by 6.05%. Section 2, the final public hearing was held on September 26, 2023 at 6 p.m. Section 3, severability. If any section or portion of a section of this resolution proves to be invalid, unlawful, or unconstitutional, it shall be held to it shall not be held to invalidate or impair the validity, force, or effect of any other section or part of this resolution. Section 4, effective date. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. And we will insert and I'll let you know what the correct amount is for the gross taxable value for the 4th whereas. It's probably typical that these things change after we adopt them anyway, apparently, here in the conversation. So, but we'll go ahead and let you know what that corrected amount is as soon as she comes back with it.
Perfect, thank you. And we can continue on with public comment now?
Yeah, you can go ahead and have your discussion and comment, and then
All right, great. So at this time, we will open this up to public comment. Yes, ma'am, in the back. And you know the drill, Ms. Heller, just your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Hi there, I am Heidi Heller, 460 Ridgewood Avenue. The budget's really heady stuff, the ins and outs, a lot confusing. I'm glad that it looks like it's being at the lowest rate. I'd like to remind everybody that money comes in, money comes out. There's lots of ways to control it. What you spend, wasteful projects, things that we buy in our own home. We buy things we don't need, they're oversized, we don't eat, we throw away. I'd like each and every department to be more mindful in the city of Holly Hill of what they're buying. Do they really need it? That is a great way of saving money, therefore not needing to increase the millage. There's one thing that this millage is basing its whole life on is at the property appraiser's appraisal amount. And that is where I think there's a big discrepancy in what needs to be looked at. Some homes that are actually selling in whole neighborhoods have one price up here, but their taxation rate is way down here. A lower rated house is here, but they're taxed at a higher rate. I think the property appraiser somewhere along the line by the City Commission has to be looked at because that's the sole source of where the money is really coming from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Heller. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this item here tonight? Seeing none, I will close public participation. And while we wait for these updated numbers, I will say that I agree with you wholeheartedly, Ms. Heller, and you have heard this commission say the same things that you talked about tonight, especially when it comes to our businesses that we believe are wholly unvalued, underestimated. So that also affects it as well, and I believe that those conversations will be had at the staff level. So thank you for bringing up that comment. With that being said, I will, if there's any comments, I will entertain them at this time, but I will also entertain a motion, and then we can discuss.
Can we make the motion without inserting that number?
Can I make a comment? first?
Just before we vote, we need that in,
Well,
right?
You really don't. We can add it in. I mean, I have this feeling that.
That's a fluid number. It's gonna change
We've
anyways.
approved it, and then the
It always
county
changes,
it, and it
right.
gets changed.
Right,
So,
because it's based on 98% anyways,
correct. I mean,
when we budget it, so.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say to Heidi
Yes, go
about
ahead.
when you said something about buying things that we don't need. I think we buy things we don't need sometimes with money we don't have to impress people we don't like. That's all I had to say.
All right.
Wrap that
Yes,
up into
you
one.
have a question?
I just want to, I want to thank staff, especially Michelle, she's not here, for the fluidity, the flexibility. Thank the city commission for the lively workshop we had to come out with, I think, which is a win-win situation. And just my comment to Mr. Forte's face is, if you know him, he's the cheapest city manager in the entire state. So we're thankful for that. He keeps us honest. He won't let his staff buy anything we don't need. And for those that are listening, ad valorem tax is the only revenue source that this commission can control. And we're about to pass a $33 million budget, and the ad valorem taxes won't pay for the police department. So the part that we control is very insignificant. Although we're trying to keep it low, there's a lot of other tax sources that come into the city. So we have the number, I think.
So
You need a
with
drum roll.
that, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a
Vice-
motion to approve
Oh,
5.90.
5.06 over the rollback, not 6.05. Okay. A couple things I need to fill you in on.
Will you withdraw your motion?
Sure.
Thank you.
The increase, okay, first on the fourth whereas, the gross taxable value for operating purposes not exempt is $921,791,272. And I also need to go to section 1 and reread that. The fiscal year 2023-2024 final operating millage is 5.900 mils, which is greater than the rollback rate of 5.616 mils by 5.06%, not 6.05. It's 5.06%.
Okay.
And with that, we're final? We're good?
Great,
Okay.
great
Okay, we're good.
clarification. Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
All right.
What really matters, City Clerk, you have to put it in the minutes. You got that? Thank you very much, Ms. Manning. And now I will open the floor again to you, Vice Mayor, for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the millage rate at 5.900.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to set the millage rate at 5.9000 and seconded by Commissioner Curry. Further discussion? No. Okay, I just want to say publicly that I appreciate this commission. I know last time I was a no vote on this. I appreciate you taking a look at this budget, bringing it back down, and saving those hard-earned dollars for all of our citizens. And I want to thank staff as well for bringing us a wonderfully balanced budget without us having to beat you up at all this year over any departments at all. So I appreciate that approach, and I'm glad that the City Commission could come together and work together to bring it down. So I appreciate that. And so with that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, the motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to number 2, Resolution 2023-R-52, public hearing for second reading. Mr. Simpson.
Resolution number 2023-R-52 by title only for second and final reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, adopting the final budget for the City of Holly Hill for the fiscal year 2023-2024, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
All right, Mr. Forte.
Yeah, when you make the motion on this, just make the motion that you mentioned that you're approving the budget as amended in the work session.
Okay, yeah. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on the budget tonight? What, do you want to come up? Okay. Seeing none, we will close public participation, and I will entertain a motion for approval as stated by Mr. Forte and what we talked about in our workshop. That's a motion to approve, Commissioner? We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Johnson and a second from Commissioner Danio. Is there any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we will move to number 3, our presentation for the evening. And I said at the beginning of the meeting, we have some folks here that have traveled far and wide to be here, and we appreciate that and welcome you to the City of Holly Hill. And today we have, our presentation is from the Florida League of Mayors and from the Florida League of Cities and Business Watch. And so if you would come forward. And so what this is, we've talked about this in multiple meetings. There was a City Catalyst grant put out by the Florida League of Mayors, which I am a part of and the city subscribes to. And so with the $2,500 grant, they were looking for, and I can let Mr. Scott Dudley explain it more, but programs that in which we could help the community. And so it was brought to my attention by the Early Learning Coalition who runs a program out of Volusia County, which is the Imagination Library, that funds and helps kids to be able to read from the age of birth to, I believe it's 5, is that correct? To the age of 5. And so when you look at the data with kids that are being read to at a young, early age, and then kids that are reading early, I said earlier, readers become leaders, and it's very true. And so in our community, we really have to help get those scores up. They're very, very low. And so we have a blue-collar working community, and some parents genuinely can't afford a $15 book, as sad as that is. And so your program goes above and beyond to fill those needs. In fact, my own family has subscribed to it for 6 years since my 6-year-old has done it, and now my 3-year-old is in the program, as I shared with you earlier today. And so we appreciate it. And so what I want to do before I call up Mr. Scott Dudley and Business Watch as well is I want to encourage you all, if you know a child, if you know, if you have a grandkid or a cousin or a nephew, please spread the word if they are under 5 about this program, because now they are going to have the funds available, and we want to get those numbers way up for Holly Hill to receive these books and make sure that they're in those hands. So I just want to, as you come forward, Mr. Dudley, if you could come to the podium. I know you have a couple words for us, and so I just want to give you our heartfelt thanks for approving this grant and even putting the grant together. So I'll lend you the floor.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the commission. Thank you for what you all do. And, you know, from the League of Cities, we appreciate what happens here at City Hall, and it's super exciting. I love, best part of my job is coming to these city council meetings across the state and just watching democracy in action. It's really, really cool. It's exciting. And so thank you for that opportunity. Indeed, Mayor, as you indicated, I'm here tonight with a representative from Business Watch, Hector Samario. We have a joint program with the League of Mayors that Business Watch and the League of Mayors have been doing for a number of years, basically trying to help cities, get over the hump on just a couple of little projects when they need some help with some dollars to finish a program. Business Watch and Florida League of Mayors combined, we get about 50 or 60 requests for funding each year. And so we call through those, and we have a pretty rigorous process that we go through. We look at the needs of the community, and we look at sort of what's happening with the budget. And y'all's project and your grant proposal was looked at, and we felt it was a worthy project for the Florida League of Mayors and for Business Watch to lend our name and give you our dollars for. And so, as you know, Mayor, you are involved in the League of Mayors, and it's an organization where we get to have mayors come together and talk about problems that all mayors around the state are dealing with, or sometimes individually dealing with, and they get help from other mayors. And so it's a really, really great organization for networking and learning best practices. And Business Watch is it's an organization that basically it's making sure that public policy makes sense for the citizens as well as for the business community. Do you have anything you want to? No? Okay. So it's a really great collaborative effort, and we're really happy to be a part of it. The City of Holly Hill, $2,500 we're giving for it's the
Imagination Library.
Early Learning Coalition of Flagler, and it's called the Imagination Library, and that's a really cool project that, as you spoke about, is going to give an opportunity for kids to read, and you stole my line about readers are leaders, and that's exactly right. So that's what it's all about. And so we're delighted to be here today to present this check to the city. You don't get to keep the big check.
Oh, man.
We
Can't cash it
keep the
anymore.
money,
I started.
but not the big check. So
And I think it cleared, so we're
good.
good.
That's all good too.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Am I right at
That's
finance?
great.
Yeah,
So,
she says it cleared.
So, Mayor, thank you, and to the City Commission who supported the effort and submitting the grant application, and we really appreciate your efforts and everything that you all are doing. Keep up the great work here.
And Mr. Dudley, just on behalf of the commission, we thank you for what you do at the Florida League of Cities, not only for this grant, of course, but for what you do every day. You're on the front lines of us, for us, cities fighting every single day, and every year it just seems to get harder and harder for what you do. So we appreciate you, and we've been very involved in protecting home rule as well. So we thank you for that. I'll ask you to step aside just for a second. I want to give the opportunity to the Early Learning Coalition. If you have anything to say, not to put you on the spot, but if you'd even just like to say thank you to the Florida League of Mayors and Business Watch.
Good evening. Hi. My name's Allison Miller. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships at the Early Learning Coalition, and I want to thank you all for this generous donation and grant. And thank you, Mayor Villa, and thank you, Mr. Forte, because we came here just to tell you about the problem with some of the literacy that's going on in the community, and we never imagined we would have walked out getting a grant from that. So we're really, really thankful, and that will help 83 children in Holly Hill get a book in the mail every single month for the next year. So we've already started really heavily promoting the program so we can help get those kids ready for kindergarten and bring those reading scores up. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Amazing. And I know, Scott, you want us to share our success with you. So if we have success stories, we need to be sharing that with the Florida League of Mayors.
Absolutely.
So they can share it and anything like that. So thank you so much. So now what I'll ask is the commission to stand back here, and if you could come forward to present the check, if we could have a picture taken with the Early Learning Coalition.
Thanks for looking out. Yeah. Got no pants in.
Stay by the chair. No, you're all right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, dry erase. That's smart. It's good for the environment.
Yeah, let's make it even. We need to take let's take a step this way.
I'm trying.
You guys get back there?
I'm never good.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Penny, can you move to your left just a
Right here. Here, hold on, Joe. Let me move this out of the way.
And then my left. There you go. That'll work.
I keep telling you, I need a box.
Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you for coming too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Started to walk out.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, yeah.
See you soon.
Drive safe.
Legislative Action Day is, and legislative conference coming up, so hope to see you there. So it's just easy drive for you guys.
We'll try to be there, yeah, in Orlando, right?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Dudley, we appreciate it. All right, and yeah, and thank you, Commissioner Curry, you accepted on my behalf at the Florida League of Mayors Conference, so I appreciate you doing that. All righty, so now we're going to move, we just finished number 3, our presentation. Now we're going to move to number 4, which is public comments. This is the audience's opportunity to speak about anything not on our regular agenda tonight. If you would like to speak to the commission about anything not on our agenda, please raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. And just pull that microphone up for me. And
Good evening, Don Bolin, 1716 Center Avenue, Holly Hill. I have a couple of questions, actually. One has, and you all have spoken about these 2 properties months ago. The property on Flomish and Nova was to be a car wash. It was, my belief was,
Yep.
Mr. Walker, there was going to be a car wash. The land over there is overgrown, 2 foot tall, 3 foot tall, with regard to it. And I was wanting to find out if that project is actually continuing to move forward or with a car wash or not, which I don't think we need another one anyway. But any idea of the status on that?
yes, ma'am, and normally we don't answer questions, but to be quick, yes, it is moving forward. It's been a question that I've had several times for staff as well, because that property is in
And so
horrible
with
shape.
regards to lawn maintenance, it's up to them and that they've been notified to?
We'll go ahead and
Something
cite the
like that?
property for not being kept up.
Is it already cited, Brian?
No.
Okay.
Yes, they're going to cite it. We had been holding off because.
Because they put in plans.
It was going to
Right, right.
But we will go ahead and let them know.
I
Okay,
went by there last week, and it was like that, and I did take pictures of it this evening
Yeah.
before I came to the meeting. My one other question, real quick, with regards to, you know how my brain works. Third Street property was also going to be a housing development months ago, Third and Ridgewood, and I saw drawings and stuff like that. I was wanting to find out if that failed or is moving forward.
that's going through the process as well.
That is still
Forward.
going through a
Yes, ma'am.
process?
Yes, ma'am.
The land is fine over there, I was just kind of curious on that.
Yep. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Yep. And you're completely right about the walls are falling apart, the property on Flomish, so I was concerned about it as well, so.
Well, it's
Thank
actually
you.
blocking traffic with regards to the land, the grass, the 3-foot tall shrubs.
Yeah,
When
I've
you
s-
deal with sitting at that light.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't
Yep.
see everything. And there's been accidents with regards to things previously with them running lights and things of that nature. So just kind of curious, that building's been vacant for what, a decade and a half?
Yeah, it's been a
maybe?
long time, yeah.
Something like that.
Thank you, Ms. Bullen.
Why a car wash, I'm not certain, especially with regards to the water situation over there. I mean, I think we have enough issues with regards to water. There's how many car washes on Nova
Well,
Road?
And we've discussed that, and that project's moving forward. Thank you, Ms. Bullen.
Thank you.
Yes. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the commission about anything not on our agenda tonight? Going once, going twice? And that is it. Public comments is closed. Now we'll move to, we do not have the minutes, so we will move to number 6, which is the consent agenda, items 1 through 4. Would any commissioner like to remove any item on the consent agenda tonight?
I'd like to talk about item 1.
Okay, we will remove number 1 for discussion. I did too, just briefly as well.
Mayor,
Yes,
if you
sir.
would, sir, I need to have you pull item 3 for a separate vote. There's no problem with it, I just need to amend your motion for that.
Okay, so we will remove item 1 and item 3. So we have consent agenda of items 2 and 4. Would anybody like to remove those? Seeing none, because if we did, we'd just take them one by one. The action proposed is stated for each item on the consent agenda. Unless a city commissioner removes an item from the consent agenda, no discussion on individual items will occur, and a single motion will approve all items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any item on the consent agenda, specifically item number 2 or number 4? See, yes? Okay. Which number? Number 2, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Don Boland, 1716 Senator Avenue. My question with regards to the lift station on number 4. I mean, it's understood that the manhole covers and the sewer lines have not been updated and rectified for 60 years, and all of a sudden, they're dealing with the lift station on a constant basis. For the past 2 years, I've seen everything about this, lift station 4, lift station 4. And it gets me is with regards to the contract that you all are entering into for, what, $75,000 a year? I'm not certain
Yes.
with regards to that situation. Is that affiliated with Pictona? Is that affiliated with the?
No, ma'am.
The pickleball situation, the RV park, the school, the Fountainhead? What is, it's a hidden agenda with regards to the idea of where these lift stations are. When you go ahead and deal with the idea of the public situation, it's like a big secret on what is really actually taking place. And I don't feel it's necessary to go ahead and not disclose information on what the real situation is. When you're entering into an agreement with the Dennis Company with regards to manhole restoration, when nothing has been done with our taxpayer dollars with regards to the renew and replace stormwater, this, that, and the other thing for 30 years since I've been here, and yet nothing has been updated for 60 years, are we really kidding ourselves? When you have unlicensed staff members dealing with, oh, well, we need to call this licensed guy, what are we doing? We have no one licensed in the city of Holly Hill with regards to dealing with job performance, issuing violations, inspections. It makes no sense to me with regards to the unlicensed practice versus hiring out different companies that are licensed to enter into contracts that are unknown when the city of Holly Hill has not maintained these lift stations and stormwater drainage and manhole covers for 60 years. So that's my comment with regards to the situation. If you're taking a look at the numbers with regards to the agreement that you're really actually entering into for 77,000 a year, not going in blind, where is lift station 4, and what is the actual real situation with regards to that? I understand that you're not going to answer my question, but I figured
I'll
I'd go
answer.
ahead and bring that to your attention. And I do have another matter that I do need to squeeze in here with regards to other situations as well.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Bullen, and I will answer you out of turn with the permission of this commission, is that this is up to $75,000 for a continuing services agreement. So that way we can have, when something comes up for a maintenance issue for these manholes to be fixed more expeditiously. So we're piggybacking. That's what this particular item that you're talking about is for. And you're right that there are some of these lift stations that are 60 years old, and this commission has been pretty proactive in the last several budgets to actually address that and to get us on a renewal process to renew them across the board. It's going to take time. We're playing a lot of catch up, but we are doing it, and so I understand your concerns. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to add, I don't believe it's a fair statement and to make the statement that the city hasn't done anything for 60 years on the stormwater or lift stations.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say you did.
Oh, okay.
I didn't say you did. It's Antoine's full-time job. He does it every day. So to say that the city hasn't done anything for 60 days, or for 60 years is
No, ma'am, I'm
totally
sorry, you already
inappropriate.
spoke. We can't allow, no, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Intent.
Ms. Bolin, I'm sorry. We understand, but thank you. You had your time. All right, moving forward, we're going to take, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on the consent agenda tonight?
You're going to talk about 1?
Yeah, we're going to talk about 1 and 3, but this is just for 2 and 4. All right, seeing none, I will close public comments, and I will entertain a motion for approval of item 2 and 4 on the consent agenda. We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Johnson.
Second.
There's a second from Vice Mayor Penny. There's no discussion needed. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we're going to revisit number 1, which is Resolution 2023-R-53, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, authorizing the city manager to sign an amended renewal lease agreement between the city and the Volusia Flagler YMCA, establishing the terms of this agreement, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor, you wanted to pull this item?
Yes, I just have some concerns. This contract has been extended and extended at 1-year terms for several years. And I think that I'll vote for this tonight to extend the contract, but I'm really disappointed in the level of service that the Holly Hill YMCA receives based on the improvements and the money spent at all the other facilities in the organization. And I think we need to negotiate fairly next year before this comes back, because I'm not in favor of one additional extension of the contract without some negotiation.
And I concur with that, and I just want to applaud Mr. Forte for keeping their feet to the fire. As we know, you've been a great negotiator on behalf of the city. Make sure to hold them to their agreements, but especially, with this renewal coming up and the way that the head of the YMCA shot back at you when it was their fault that they didn't come to ask us for whatever else that they wanted, and then was offended that you asked them to come actually present it to the city commission. So I told you privately that I appreciate you saying, well, then we're not going to go ahead and do what you're doing. We're going to approve this, but you need to come back to us in June or July to actually negotiate some of this stuff. So I believe, Vice Mayor, what you said is exactly right. We need to make sure that we get everything we can for the Holly Hill Y, and I know that you're an integral part over there. You're there several times a week, and so I appreciate that, Mr. Forte.
Not
Do you have
anymore.
anything to add?
You can't ride a bike with 1 foot.
Oh, yeah, your foot's all messed up.
Just in my response back to the director of the YMCA, I told him that we are going to need to open up the entire contract and renegotiate all the terms and conditions in this next year.
Good, and thank you for that. And we can discuss that at a workshop coming up. So I appreciate you pulling that, Mr. Penny, to make sure to put an exclamation point on that. So with that, we'll open this up to public comment. Yes, sir. Mr. Legary.
Tim Legary, 342 Burley. I want to comment that the last few times I've been there, I'm impressed with the level of activity that has been picked up. I think I commend you. I also want to point out that at that YMCA, there is a children's library section that is very active. It is perhaps the most active thing in the place. And recently, they have been quite helpful in keeping it.
Are you
because
still
I've
putting
been
that on,
somewhat-
Mr. Legary?
I've been somewhat slack.
Are you still putting that on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, there's
Thank you for that.
thousands of books there. And the other day when I was there were 4 children picking up children's books.
Love it. Thank you very
good.
much for doing that, Mr.
Thank you.
Legary. We appreciate that. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Vice Mayor Penny and a second from Commissioner Danio. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to number 3, which is Resolution 2023-R-46. Mr. Forte, you asked us to pull this item.
Yeah, this item's been pushed down the line for several meetings, and it's because we're waiting on a signed agreement from the FDEP. We finally received it, we executed it, we sent it back, we're waiting on their executed copy to come back to us. So what I'd like to do is make this motion to be effective or to authorize me to execute this agreement after we receive the executed agreement from the FDEP.
Okay, that
I
sounds.
mean, I could read a motion if you want me to read them.
Yeah, please read it into record.
It should just say, effective upon the signing of the FDEP agreement, approve and authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Parker Mitchenberg and Associates, Inc. to provide professional consultant services to extend the sewer force main further west across Nova Road at 10th Street in an amount not to exceed $47,700.
I believe that's the current motion
That's it?
already. Yeah.
No, I added something in the beginning.
Okay, I missed it at the beginning. then.
On
Okay.
receipt of the,
Upon receipt. All right. Thank you, Mr. Forte. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the commission on this item tonight? No. All right. Seeing none, I will close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval
Motion to approve.
as stated by Mr. Forte. Do we have a second? All right, we have a motion to approve as stated by Mr. Forte from Commissioner Danio and a second from Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now, on our regular agenda tonight, number 1, we have Resolution 2023-R-55. Mr. Simpson?
Resolution number 2023-R-55 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, awarding the contract of fire station construction to Sabungi Construction, Inc. in the amount of $3,375,700 and authorizing the city manager to execute the same, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Forte, I'll throw it to you.
well, we're excited that this has finally come to fruition. The low bid on this was a qualified responsible bidder, Sabungi Construction, for the amount that was mentioned in the resolution. We'll have a pre-construction meeting scheduled soon once this is done, and we're looking forward to this project being completed. I don't know if Antoine has anything more to add?
The issue is going to be delayed by or the construction would be delayed because we don't want the contractor to start until they receive all of the material, and the backlog right now on electrical components is about a year. So you might not see that much construction going on until the components are within 2 or 3 months of delivery.
Thank you. So that
You're
was
not going to wait a full year.
that was going to be my
No, 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 no.
question.
No, you start the construction at the ground and you clear this, that's what I'm saying, a few months, but when we have a certain date that the delivery of these things, you can start the clearing and the site work and the vertical construction before the electrical gets there.
So as you and I spoke about privately, Mr. Forte, that was going to be my question here tonight, is we have before us a 365-day contract to have this built. And Mr. Forte, I just wanted to ask, in the contract, it says 365 days from the notice to proceed.
Right, and
So
notice to
how
proceed is-
soon can we give that notice to proceed, as I hear what
Yeah, as Antoine's
Antoine's saying?
mentioning, the contractor is going to be bound by that 365 days, and typically they order their materials, and when they know when they have delivery dates on the materials, they work their way back from that, and that's when they're given their notice to proceed. So hopefully, as they're putting their bids out, it may take a year to get the electrical components, but once they get confirmation of what that delivery date is, then that's when they'll start the project. So I'm hoping they'll get notification within the next couple of months that all the material is on order and en route to be delivered, and that's when they'll start the project.
So they can order what they need tomorrow, after this is passed?
As soon as we tell them.
Whose decision is it for the notice to proceed? Is that your decision?
Well, it's done through it's done through the planning department that they issue the notice you issue the notice to proceed. And once they contact us and say, we've got our materials in, we're ready to begin work, then we issue the notice to proceed.
Here's my concern and my question is, a lot of these contractors take on a lot of jobs. I want to make sure that we are going to give the notice to proceed as fast as possible so we can get this built as fast as possible for our fire department guys, get them in their new house. And I don't want them to play some shell game where they're finishing up another project and wait for the notice to proceed for 6 months.
No, I don't think that's going to be the cause of any delay. I think the delay is going to be based on receipt or notification of the materials the order being accepted and the delivery time on that. So the reason the contractor waits for that is because there are liquidated damages if you exceed that 365 days. So that if they know they're not going to get an electrical component, they're not going to
$500.
put themselves in a position to fail that time frame. So they'll make sure that they're going to be able to build it in a year from that notice to proceed. But we want to get it executed as soon as possible.
All right, I just wanted to put that on record, that I'm asking you to
When we have that meeting with them, they'll know that
hold their
we're looking
feet
get
to
it
the
done.
fire, please. Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that. Are there any further questions? Yes, sir.
So my concern is with the cost. If we're telling them realistically, you can't start construction for 90 to 180 days because we're 12 months out on this material, is there anything in their contract that they can charge additional fees once they go over the 365?
Nope.
No, sir.
Nope. They have to hold their...
Binding contract, that the bid price is what they get paid for. Now, it's a unit price. If there is a additional material that is needed that's not in the specification, they are entitled to get paid for that. But if it's all the material that is in the contract has been no change in it, they are bound by that price.
Because my concern is, it's my understanding this contractor just was building a very large facility in Port Orange and ran into some of these issues with timing and materials and bonds being called and penalties and fines, and it just drug out. And so I would just want to make sure that I understand the contractor's been vetted and has some explanation for the reasons that these things happen in Port Orange. I just don't want to see that same thing happen in our city.
Yeah, and
I don't want the lawyers to have to fight it out at the end.
I completely agree with you. It's a fair point, and I am thankful that the staff went to another level to have them vetted on this, and that's why I want to make sure that we're holding their feet to the fire. As I understand it, the contractors' bids that they put in, if they go over their 365, every day they go over is a $500 fine. And, as time goes, those contractors that are going to be working for them as well, their prices are going to go up. So I don't know how long they have price locks on those. So it's in their best interest. I just want to make sure that we don't hold out this notice to proceed forever. And very, very good point, Vice Mayor.
Just keep in mind, when we talk about that time frame, there's force majeure clauses in
Yeah,
there.
right.
That we know that can extend the time.
Of course, yeah, hurricane
So-
comes or, yeah.
What supply issues cause, this is force majeure. too.
Yeah.
They can get additional time usually for supply issues.
Even if we give them a notice to proceed and it doesn't come in?
It's not their fault that
Yeah.
material's on delay, as long as we know that they've ordered it, not that they delayed in ordering, but, which I don't think that they would. But the other thing I want to do is, I'm going to request that we meet bi-weekly like we did with the
Good.
Victona development, so that we
Yes.
stay on top of things and we're just aware of how things are progressing on a bi-weekly basis.
Thank you for that, Mr. Forte.
Mayor, I'm a
Force
little,
majeure requires notice to us, like really quickly too. If
Okay,
they have
they
an issue
have-
pops up that causes it, that they want additional time for, I think they usually have to give us notice within 24 or 48 hours.
Okay, good to know. Yes, Commissioner
what
Daniel.
what I'm confused with, Joe, is I think you just asked him that he can order something tomorrow if we pass this tonight.
Yep, they should be
Well, if
ordering.
he's a year out with materials.
Right.
And he orders it tomorrow,
No, it just means that if he orders it tomorrow and the supplier says, we're going to deliver this to you on September 1st, 2024, then he backs his time out from that date. He doesn't start then. He starts so that he times it so that those pieces of material come in when he needs it in that month.
so if that electrical part of the building is in the 6th month, he waits 6 months to start?
Well, in that particular thing, you're talking about an electrical panel, and that really gets installed toward the end. But he's got to time that out with it's no different when you build a home. These contractors have to plan out for a while, it was taking 6 to 9 months to get windows on a residential home. So these contractors have to time the delivery of all those materials out, everything from windows to doors to
other
electrical
thing that-
components, everything.
All right, well, and the other thing that concerns me is kind of, you get what you pay for.
Sabungi is a
Yeah.
well-respected contractor in this area, so I have no questions about Sabungi. We know they had a conflict in Port Orange. The architect vetted it out. The change orders are going to be dependent upon how good the architect did his job on designing all this and making sure everything was included. I do expect there to be some change orders. Well, hopefully, we want to keep that to a bare minimum. But this conversation we're having, we would have no matter who this contractor is. The
Right.
supply issues are the
Yes.
supply issues.
Yes. And I agree with that. And they are the lowest responsible bidder, so, and they were vetted out. So any further questions? All right. With that, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation and I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the resolution from Commissioner Curry and a second from, was it Johnson? Commissioner Johnson. And for discussion, I just want to say, it's in the same vein, so I think the commission will allow me to say, that new truck looks great. I hope you guys like it, and I hope that you love your new place where you can put your head down for a few minutes in between calls and call it home. And so I'm really proud of this project coming forward, and thank you so much for everything you do for the city. And, I want to publicly, he's not here, thank Representative Leek, Tom Leek, who is the Chair of Appropriations that really helped bring this to the finish line. Thank you, Chief, for supporting this, and of course, Mr. Forte for jumping right on this idea from the get-go. So really looking forward to this. This is one of the projects I'm going to be most proud of when I leave office, is that building for what I always call our public heroes. So thank you very much for what you do. Is there any further comment from the commission? All right, with that, we'll go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to number 2, which is Resolution 2023-R-56. Mr. Simpson.
Resolution number 2023-R-56 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, increasing water and sewer rates by 5.5% for the next fiscal year, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. Mr. Forte.
So this is the last year of your 5-year rate increase from the last study that we did. So this will get implemented effective October 1. After the first of the year, we'll be going out and engaging another consultant to do a rate study. I'll be meeting with Antoine and Joseph to talk about what the conditions are in the water and wastewater plants, what loans we have out, what projects we have underway, what the time scale is on that, and what the projection is for future improvements at the plant. And then once we get all that figured out, we'll have a meeting with the consultant, we'll have a workshop with the commission with the consultant, and then they'll get to work on figuring out what the rates should be moving forward.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for staff? All right. We'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone? Yes, ma'am, in the back. Oh, sorry, Dawn, she raised her hand first.
Hi there, I'm Heidi Heller, 460 Ridgewood Avenue. Thank you for this opportunity to say hello and talk about the rates. Thank you, Mr. Forte, for mentioning that you are going to have a rate study done. What was missing, though, was that there should be a difference in commercial versus residential rates. I don't believe there should be any difference. The city water, it's the city totality. The city is taking care of it for everybody, and everybody should be treated. A couple years ago, when the proposal increase per year was put through, I figured out my rate was actually $27 per thousand. And my electric bill, there's also the trash. Laundromat, I only had 2,500 gallons. The laundromat had 43,000 gallons, and they're only paying $27 per thousand. Why is that? Mr. Curry's whole system dilapidates faster because of the use, the extensive use of the commercial businesses. Now, is the percentage of homeowners versus commercial, the volume, so much different that it allows $27 for a commercial business and $37 for a homeowner? Besides my 5.5%, the state allowed 9% surcharge in the water districts in some billed by my park. So we have extra billing. It's not your concern, but it is part of our concern within the city. One of the reasons why I'm against the differential in commercial versus residential. I'm glad that the rate study is coming up. I don't think we should have to be paid that much difference. It should be more equitable. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heller. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak on this item? Ms. Bolin?
Dawn Boland, 1716 Center Avenue. I understand the 5.5% increase, and I understand where you're coming from as far as saying the 5-year situation. Taking a look at the different varying cities in the area, basically the average water bill is $34 as far as if you do a Google search online. Understanding waste management went up to $25.01. That's not an issue. I wanted to find out is whether or not the city has ever considered increasing the gallons from 2,000 to 3,000. You have a lot of residents with regards to, it's like if the meter goes one number over, it's the next tier. Those tiers are really harming people with regards to the water usage as far as things are concerned. As far as a family, you know yourself, you have a lot of kids, or they're using water. The second tier, as far as from the 2,000 rate to the 3,000 rate, whether or not the city wants to consider doing something like that, so it doesn't wind up impacting the residents the way the water bills have been impacting them. As far as, it's like I don't water my lawn as far as things are concerned. My daughter brings her laundry to the laundromat at times because it's massive quantities of water as far as being used. We don't drink the water because we can't because of the chemicals. But with regards to that, as far as whether or not the city wants to go ahead and consider changing that tier schedule, everybody's got the basic rate, they got the next gallon, but to give them another unit to work with, I think some of the other cities have gone ahead and implemented that type of thing. when you have less than a $34 water bill in Daytona, and the county is totally different. It's like, oh, they got a $2 water bill this month. What is wrong with, why are we so high? What is the cause of our utilities being so high? The renew and replace $3 fees with regards to that situation, haven't done anything. The $25,000 that are being eliminated for make-believe non-payment, some of those numbers were consistent of charging the renew and replace water fees and then adding a $500 surcharge on the number. just
Well, that's
to go
on a
ahead and
different
eliminate
item,
it.
Ms. Bullen. You can bring that up when that item comes up.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, might be something to consider is to change that rate tier.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Bullen. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the commission tonight on this item? All right, seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll just say, tonight we're voting on the 5.5%, and so that's what we'll be discussing here. And those points are well taken. I think some confusion on some of the numbers, Ms. Heller, and we'll go through those. I know that you'll be here for all of those meetings as you were last time through that process, and we entertain your input, both of you, and I'm willing to look at everything, and once we go through that study, we should look at those things. So thank you for bringing your concerns to us. With that, I will entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Curry and a second from Commissioner Danio. Is there any discussion needed? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we move to number 3, Resolution 2023-R-57. Mr. Simpson.
Resolution number 2023-R-57 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, in opposition to the proposed construction of the Belverde Fuel Farm.
Belvedere.
Belvedere?
Belvedere, yeah.
Okay. Fuel farm near Ormond Beach in the unincorporated area of Volusia County at or about 874 Hall Road, Ormond Beach, Florida.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simpson. So I asked for this to be included on our agenda here tonight, and I understand that this is, it's actually not in the city of Ormond Beach. It's actually located in the unincorporated county. Many of you here tonight may have heard about it. It's the fuel farm that has been proposed to be placed over essentially in Ormond Beach, but it's actually a little enclave of unincorporated county. The problem is, and I know the commission is aware of what's happening, the problem is that zoning allowed for the fuel farm to be placed there. And so when Belvedere purchased that property and they started to move forward with that, some of the officials at the county level and at the city of Ormond Beach apparently were unaware of what was exactly coming. And so I've spoke at length with our county commissioner, Mr. Troy Kent, about this issue, and he's in opposition of it when it came to his attention, as I understand it, as well as our state delegation, including Representative Tom Leake. He's fighting from the state side of this, from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and different divisions there. So what this is, the Volusia League of Cities drafted this resolution for the cities to help support the county and to support Ormond Beach. It is wholly a terrible location, an unacceptable location by the airport in Ormond Beach, and also right near a place I know near and dear to your heart, the Ormond Beach ball fields, where all the kids play baseball.
Bear Creek.
And Bear Creek, and then also the homes. And, we deal with an issue sometimes. We have calls from citizens that move in here, and they move a couple 100 feet away from the railroad tracks, and they call us and they say, darn it, this train is so loud. And there's nothing we could do about that. It's been here a long time since before any of us. But in this case, it's the exact opposite. You have a fuel farm that's moving in where people paid, money to put down roots and be right next to it and have that potential danger. And so not only is it not suitable, I believe, in my opinion, for that location, but I went a step further and said it's not suitable anywhere in Volusia County, for that matter, especially, of course, our city. And there's no talk of that happening, just to be clear. But I thought it would be nice if we also signed on to this resolution, just so that way it shows a united front. All of the other cities, as I understand, are also signing on to this resolution. So I wanted to bring it forward by this commission and hope to get unanimous approval of that. Are there any questions on this item from the commission?
Yeah, I think, when I heard that, I think it'll be like 30 million gallons of fuel. And how are they gonna transport moving fuel around during bike week?
Yeah. It's hundreds of trucks a day, and, it was pointed out that,
Can't even get off I-95 on US 1 back.
Right. That's right.
It's gonna be a traffic nightmare.
That's right. And I have a feeling, that I've never seen as much public input for any issue as this one. And so I hope that the county, and I believe they will, from talking to many representatives, will stand firm on this. It may open the county up to possible litigation.
Burlington told me he has never talked to anyone that's for it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Not a single person is for it other than Belvedere themselves, so.
It's within like a mile of those baseball fields.
Yep, you're exactly right. So, with no opposition, I hope that we will go ahead and pass this tonight. We will open this up to public comment. Ms. Bullen, you raised your hand first.
Thank you, Don Bolin, 1716 Center Avenue. I just had one actual comment with regards to the resolution that the city of Holly Hill is preparing. And what I believe should be a part of that is that the trucks with regards to the fuel farm would be traveling the city of Holly Hill roads. They run north and south as far as Nova and Ridgewood. And the impact with regards to that situation, I think the city, we all know that it's going to litigation. There's no doubt about it. They approved it in 2022 and things of that nature. But the more, as far as if you're going to be opposed to it with regards to the running of the roads as far as the trucks are concerned as well. When they're running 20, 30 trucks a day, north and south, as far as Nova and whatnot, the roads cannot withstand the issues as well.
That's a great
If you get an oil spill or gas spill and you're no longer able to plant a vegetable. So the impact, we know, is significant, but we also do know that it is going in a litigious venue because they did approve. The unfortunate reality is when they wound up going ahead and rezoning the land, the city commission just said, yeah, cool, no problem, without realizing what the project was.
And I appreciate those comments. I can add those to my comments when I speak with the county. Yes, sir.
Jim Legary, 342 Burley. This is one of several things, I think, which have been approved. The same thing as Bevel Road that have been approved by the local people. And I'm wondering, is there any, what do we say to the officials that approved this, that voted on something that they didn't quite understand? As we said, there isn't a single person that I've heard that said this was a good idea. And yet, the public officials have approved it. I think Troy Kent was one of them that voted on it, wasn't he?
Thank you, Mr. Legary. Is there anyone else in the audience? Yes, ma'am. Just state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Sharon Miller, 553 6th Street. It's just a comment. I have some friends that live in Bear Creek, and they are very concerned there as a fire hazard. And of course, y'all know that because of gas. But anyway, they went to the meeting over in DeLand, and many people did from Bear Creek, concerning this. And so I was just making the comment on their behalf that there was a lot that went to the meeting because they were concerned for fire.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to comment on this tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. And let me just add to that, too, that a couple weeks back, Mr. Forte and I attended Troy Kent's, our county council members' town hall that was here, and just about packed the audience, these seats right here, to speak about this. And he was in no way, shape, or form for this. As he explains it, it was many years ago by the county when this zoning was approved, when this wasn't even an idea of a project. I'm unsure of any of the back and forth that happened since 2022, but here in Holly Hill, we can only affect what we can do, and so we're lending our voice to help support our partners in Holly Hill as a community, or in Ormond Beach as a full community. So with that, are there any further discussion? All right. With that, we'll take I need a motion first. Can we have a motion to approve this? It's just the resolution to lend our voice to the opposition of the Belvedere Fuel Farm.
Mayor, I'll make the motion to approve.
No, we're not involved in the lawsuit, no. We have a motion from Commissioner Curry.
second it.
A second from Commissioner Danio. Any discussion needed? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we move to number 4, uncollectible utility account adjustments. Mr. Forte.
Okay, finance staff is requesting the city commission approve to adjust the accumulated utilities uncollectible balances for an inactivated with terminated utility services for over 4 years old as of August 31st, 2023. Florida Statute 95.11 limits the amount of time for action to recover utility debt. None of the accounts are under the current property owner's name. Both internal and external collection efforts have been made on these accounts. If the account holder attempts to open future utility accounts, the city will require payment of those debts. So we do this to take this debt service off the books so that we can move forward with our budgets and audits.
Thank you, Mr. Forte. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. I know you were alluding to this and the other.
Don Boland,
Yes, ma'am.
1716 Center Avenue. Apparently, I read the agenda this month. With regards to the collection accounts, I understand that the purpose and the need for the write-off is like make them go away. Taking a look at the accounts as far as things are concerned, some of the accounts were $3 fees for the sewer and water, and yet a mysterious $568 number comes into play. At least 2 of those entries that took place. With regards to I didn't evaluate the water, when you turn on and turn off waters in rental properties, as far as things are concerned, you're collecting a high deposit from the new person that winds up renting the place. Why can't the city consider dealing with, you go like the gas company would do? If the old tenant wound up dealing with the issue of an outstanding bill, unfortunate reality is the tenant would be required to deal with paying that balance off in one way, shape, or form so that you don't have that outstanding debt. I would not propose that the city go after new tenants with regards to that, but it's my understanding that you all collect massive quantities of deposits with regards to new turn-on fees and turn-off fees as far as things are concerned with the water. And so the option should be in place where when the old tenant removes themselves and you're charging a new tenant $250 turn-on fee, why don't you go ahead and just deal with the idea of taking that turn-on fee and applying it towards the old bill? Then you don't wind up in that pickle. It's less of a deposit, but people aren't getting their deposits back anyway because you just take the money and run. And so with regards to those deposit fees, if they have outstanding debt with regards to it, I understand that you're dealing with, okay, well, we want to remove stuff and we want to charge as much as we can with regards to it, and they shouldn't leave their debt. But when you're taking a $35 administrative fee for the city and you're taking a $2.98 for Texas, these people aren't going to pay anybody with regards to the idea of the collection being in Texas. Are we kidding? That's just sweep it under GCAN, you know? There's no sense on even going ahead and dealing with that $33 bill when you're just going to take it off from the next tenant. Of course, some of those properties are vacant. They've been vacant, yet they still have bills. So it was just a suggestion with regards to eliminating those fees rather than deal with a huge $25,000 write-off.
Thank you, Ms. Bolin. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak to the commission on this item tonight? All right, seeing none, I will close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Curry and a second from Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the motion carries unanimously. Now we're moving to number 5 on our agenda, which is the request that the City Commission determine whether or not a nuisance exists at 1625 Aniston Avenue, and if so, determine what course of action should be taken. I will send it over to Mr. Forte, who I believe will send it to Mr. Walker.
Actually, we're going to have Brian Walker come up as the head of code enforcement to present this case.
All right, Mr. Walker, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Mayor, Commission. The purpose of the item before you tonight is to request that you as a commission determine whether or not there is a nuisance that exists at 1625 Aniston Avenue. And if you determine that a nuisance does exist at that address, determine what course of action should be taken. When we look at the Holly Hill Code, Chapter 26, Section 2661, there's a section titled Special Items Declared a Nuisance, and that provides a list of items that are declared to be and constitute a nuisance. Now, I'll show you on Exhibit A. This is a part of Exhibit A that references that code. And 2661, Item 2, refers to an accumulation of trash, litter, debris, garbage, bottles, paper cans, rags, dead or decayed fish, fowl, meat, and other animal matter, fruits, vegetables, offal, bricks, concrete, scrap lumber, or other building debris or other refuse of any nature. And these types of things can provide harborage for rats, mice, and other types of vermin, so that is also considered a nuisance under this portion of the code. And then 26-62 states that it is unlawful for any person to create a nuisance or suffer or permit a nuisance to exist upon property which is under his care, custody, or control. So it is staff's opinion that the property known as 1625 Aniston Avenue has a long history of accumulating trash and debris that meets the definition of a nuisance under this code section, and that the property owner created the nuisance and permitted the nuisance to continue. The property, just looking at the history, the property was first cited for sanitary nuisances on December 17th, 2008. And throughout the years, it's received numerous notices of violation regarding junk and clutter, unoperable vehicles and trailers, and things of that type that have been stored on the property, and for conditions that provide harborage for rats and various vermin. The next exhibit, B, notices of violation, shows, and these are just a sampling. There have been many other types of violations. These are just sample notices of violation. These exhibits are not meant to cover every piece of item and every violation related to this case, because this case is going on, you'll see, for many years. But this one was issued in October of 2012 for clutter and junk. You can see on the lower right the entire yard full, construction material, tarps over a couch, trailers, debris, and that type of matter. Then in March of 2013, again, the lower right, clutter, 2 autos in the backyard, boats, trailer untagged, full of debris, scrap metal, building debris. The check marks as well up above show, or the X's show that there is an accumulation of trash. Yes.
Mr.
Brian,
Walker, Vice Mayor.
Did the property come into compliance between these 2 dates?
The property has never come into compliance.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. This is another one, a couple of years later, in July of 2015. Same thing, clutter, debris. Moving forward, this is another sample, April of 2023, scrapping and storage of types of things that are of a scrap nature have been on the property. So these are the items related to the various notices of violation. Now, if we look at some sample photographs of the property, these are attached over a span of approximately 10 years, and I'll take you quickly through them. These pictures were taken in February of 2013. Pictures were taken in August of 2013. These in December of 2022. These in April of 2023. And these pictures were taken today. So what these pictures demonstrate is that although through the years there may have been some items that have come and gone, overall there's been consistently clutter and junk at varying degrees on the property, and at no time during the span has the property come into compliance with regard to junk and clutter. Now, the property owner has been taken before the special magistrate numerous times for violations related to the debris and clutter and vehicles. And just some of the times that there have been magistrate meetings with regard to this are in this next Exhibit C, magistrate orders and liens. And again, this is not all of them. This one was a special master meeting that was held July 26th of 2013 for the same type of activity for junk and clutter. This is a lien that was recorded in April of 2014 that has been on the property for junk and clutter. Here is a special magistrate meeting in August 28th of 2013. Here's another lien that was recorded in November 8th of 2018 for, again, the same activity. Here's a special magistrate meeting, January 19th of 2023. And then we had another one on April 20th of 2023 where the special magistrate again found that these conditions have existed continuously and then authorized staff to abate the nuisance. This is part of this magistrate's order from April 20th, 23. And she said if the respondent fails to correct all of the violations within 14 days, the City of Holly Hill employees, subcontractors, and/or agents shall be granted permission, pending a ruling of the same from the city commissioners, to enter the property to remove all items declared a nuisance according to City Ordinance Section 26-61. All costs and expenses incurred by the City of Holly Hill for the removal of the item shall be paid by the owner. If the owner fails to pay these costs and expenses, they shall be recorded as a lien on the property. Now, through the years, the homeowner has repeatedly stated that she would clean up the property. In her case notes, the special magistrate, Melody Poulin, in her notes of October 26, 2012, Code Officer C. Town, she said and documented that Ms. Hammond stated that she was getting a shed permit to place items into the shed in an effort to clean up the yard, but the property was not brought into compliance at that time. That was back in 2012. Then the special magistrate recorded in her write-up of the meeting on January 19th, 2023, that the homeowner, Ms. Hammond, advised, quote, that she will have assistance this upcoming week to help clear all of the trash, scrap, and debris from the property. Now, this would have meant that the property would have been cleared by the end of January 2023, but that did not occur. Then, at another meeting of the special magistrate on April 20th, 2023, and there are also recordings of this along with it being documented in the orders, the special magistrate recorded in her write-up that Ms. Hammond testified, quote, that she is in the process of getting help in cleaning up her property. And on other occasions, Ms. Hammond has spoken directly with staff, including myself and Code Officer Kyle Mahanes, who was here and interacted on many occasions with Ms. Hammond, and verbally committed to cleaning up the property. But as of today, you have all seen the photographs. Through the years, the special magistrate has assessed accumulating fines for multiple violations regarding the storage of junk and litter and trash, and because those accumulating fines have not encouraged the homeowner to remove the trash, they were eventually placed as liens on the property. Now, as of September 14th, 2023, and this is just a snapshot, it's not meant to go through all of the calculations, but if you take the special magistrate's orders and you look at how much she assessed per day, and you look at the start date and go to September of 2023, because they have not been in compliance, the first lien from August 28, 2013 is for $438,250. The second from September 23rd of 2015 at $150 a day for 2,902 days is now at $435,400. There's also special magistrate admin fees. So the total through September 14th is $874,400. And then we had a calculation brought up to date as of today for this meeting, and it is now at $877,140. So this property is not homesteaded. So it's not able to be. I'm sorry. It is homesteaded.
It is.
So the property
And
is.
just let me pause you right there, Mr. Walker. I know you're upset, and we will hear you, and you will have your time to come up and to speak, and I promise you that, okay? But just please respect him as he's speaking, and he will respect you as well. Thank you very much. Mr. Walker.
Sure. So the property is homesteaded, and because of that, it's not eligible to be foreclosed upon. So this means that the nuisance of clutter, junk, and scrapping could potentially remain on the property for many more years to come. Staff has spent many hours working to encourage the homeowner to clean up the property. There have been complaints about the property that we've responded to. Numerous visits to the property have been made. Notices of violation have been issued. Paperwork and documentation has been created. There have been discussions held with the property owner. We've scheduled appearances before the special master, filed liens, and so on. Spent many, many staff hours throughout the years on this property, and have just not been able to successfully get the homeowner to bring it into compliance. The city's latest effort to encourage the property owner to come into compliance consisted of writing and sending a certified letter on August 31st, 2023, to Sherry Hammond, the homeowner, as well as to the property's mortgage holder. The letter is attached here as Exhibit E. Excuse me. So this is part of the letter that was sent as required by ordinance as notification of the meeting. We did send it via certified mail, return receipt requested. It was also posted on the property, and it was hand-delivered to Ms. Hammond, who is here this evening, by Code Officer Mahanes. So as part of the letter, What we had to do is let the homeowner know what the violation was, had to provide them with additional time to remove the nuisance, and advise them that if the nuisance continued, staff would be bringing the issue to the City Commission in accordance with Ordinance 3059, which was adopted by the Commission on February 14, 2023, in order for you to decide if you agree that a nuisance exists, and then make a decision as to what needs to be done about it. Ordinance 3059 does give you the ability to abate. It says that the city shall have the right to abate a nuisance by removing or correcting the conditions constituting a nuisance, such as demolishing the structure or other property constituting such nuisance, removing junk, garbage, and debris, and any other condition constituting a nuisance under Section 2661 pursuant to the following procedure. Now, that procedure, it's very small, but basically in a nutshell, we have to provide written notice to the owner and others listed on a title search, which our city attorney had a title search done. A letter was provided to the homeowner and to the mortgage company. The violations were cited. The corrective action that they needed to take was provided in that letter. We gave them additional time to correct the violation, and we did notify Ms. Hammond that if the corrective action wasn't taken, the city that this issue would be brought to you as a commission this evening. You as a commission will need to determine if a nuisance exists. If so, then as a commission, you are obligated to give them additional time to correct the violation per ordinance. If the violation is not corrected, then the commission can authorize the city to enter the property and abate the nuisance. So what staff is requesting is, there's been a long history of failure to remove the nuisance and the junk. There's also scrapping going on at the property. And despite repeated efforts by staff, despite liens, despite orders of the special magistrate, over more than a 10-year period, we just have not been able to successfully get the property cleaned up. So what staff is asking for is, one, that based on the evidence submitted, the commission make a finding that a nuisance exists and has been allowed to exist for many years in violation of 2661 and 2662. And two, that the commission give the homeowner no more than 30 days from the date of this meeting to remove the nuisance based on Section 2661 to the city's satisfaction in accordance with the code. And that three, if the homeowner fails to remove the nuisance by October 26, 2023, the commission authorized city employees, subcontractors, and/or agents to enter the property and remove all items declared a nuisance in accordance with Section 2661, and to further authorize that all expenses incurred by the city for removal of such items be paid by the property owner, and that if the property owner fails to pay such costs and expenses, that they be recorded as a lien on the property, or if such expenses qualify, that they be added to the property's non-ad valorem portion of the tax bill. And that concludes staff's presentation on the abatement request.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker, and unless there's a pressing question from the commission, at this time, I think it is appropriate to hear from the property owner, and you will be able to speak. And then afterwards, we will have ex parte communication. If there's any ex parte communication, we should go ahead and disclose that. So at this time, Ms. Hammond, if you would like to come up. Are you Ms. Hammond? You're Ms. Hammond, and who is this with you? Okay, come on up. And just state your name, both of you, for the record.
Sherry Hammond.
Christy Wilson.
Yep, and you can pull that mic down a little bit because it's all recorded. It has to be recorded, so.
Thank you.
All right, so, and look, before you begin, none of us want to be here to where we are at this point.
I appreciate it.
And so, at this time, you're able to say whatever you want to make your case and to speak to the commission. If you disagreed with some things of staff, you can bring those up, but the floor is yours, okay?
Okay, well, my husband passed away 2008, and it kind of went, from 2008, I've been having more trouble than anything. But I am working on, as he came, the gentleman right there came today, and he did say it is improved quite a bit. and we are working on
We
it.
did get rid of a vehicle as well.
We got rid of one vehicle so
And
far.
a boat. And I have an order to pick up 3
If you
of
could
them.
just let her speak and then come on in.
She's the one, I need
Okay,
them
if
to
you
be
do though, just
Yeah.
here's what I want you to do.
One talk, right?
Yeah, you could talk with her if she allows you to, but you need
Yes,
to
she-
pull that microphone
yes.
in front of you.
Can I just
can.
get, all right.
What is your name?
I'm Christy Wilson. I have
Christy
been-
Wilson?
Yes, I don't live there. I'm living out of town in St. Augustine, so I'm back and forth. I have done a lot of work since. I'm sure the gentleman walked around. Yes, the pictures look, they look insane. I get that. But I've been doing, like, I put all the debris in the boats. I've taken piles and piles and piles of stuff. I was told the last time by, I don't think it was it you, about the dumpster? You said if we
And
got-
just direct your comments to the
Well,
commission,
he was
please.
telling me about the dumpster. We need a dumpster. Like
Okay, you need a dumpster.
2000
Yep.
in 2006, no, it was 2007, I think, no, 2009, 2008 when her husband died. I went there because she was kind of an inside hoarder a bit, and I went there with a 26 cubic dumpster, and I got rid of 2 dumpsters full of things, and I helped the house out, did everything, went back to my home in Edgewater, which I own, and it was great. So things started getting out of hand after he, passed away. She got a little bit, I don't know. I don't know if it's a sickness. I don't know what it is, but I love her, and she's a good person. She tries hard. But I do argue with her and stuff to get the stuff done. I'm getting it done. I have 3 orders right now to remove every vehicle. The black vehicle that's there right now, there's a Nissan and another Nissan right now. They are tagged. One of them isn't. But I got on the phone today, and I have, one will be gone tomorrow, and then there's another one, the other 2 will be, and this is
By
no
the end of the
bull
week.
crap, it'll be gone. I wish I asked for some type of paperwork, but I can show you maybe an email, or if you'd like to look. I talked to, it was what was that, all junk, Clunkers is one of them, and there's another one, it's all pick cars, but they're coming to get that, and we're going to have vehicles that run, because I tell her she's too old to be worried about the vehicle getting constantly fixed. To me, it's a big chunk of metal. So I am now on the scene. I'm going to be there for the next 3 weeks, every day. And I have about 4 or 5 of my friends coming to help. I don't mind if you come and help, people come and help. It's not a problem to me. It's a problem to her because she has, she likes to hold on to things, but I need help. Yes, I do. If I could get a dumpster from you guys, granted, I don't know if it needs to be paid. I don't know how that works, but I was told if I got the driveway cleared out, I got rid of the couch that was there. I've gotten rid of many, many things. And today, he was there. The driveway looks great compared to what, you've seen what it looked like years ago. She did get the beautification award in '99, decades ago.
Wow.
Holly Hill, so I'm trying to shoot
We want to
for
get
that.
you back there, Miss.
I
wanna
want,
get back there, I'd love
exactly,
to.
and that's my thing. I've had Tip Top Complete Lawn Care, and I do cleaning, construction. That's my work, so I'm here to help her, and I'm not leaving. So I just want, I came here today so you guys wouldn't, I understand what you said, like, you're not trying to here to badger her, I get it. There's lots of nuisances around the area. I was gonna drive around and take pictures and really come here strapped, but I said, I just wanna see what it was, and I see, but they're talking decades ago what it looked like. It doesn't look anything like that. And there is no rats, we have problems with the lady across the street, Terry, and then the lady next door. She made a big deal about the side of the house. I got rid of the truck.
You painted it?
I painted, we painted, we're fixing holes.
Yeah.
There's things going on right now with the mortgage. They know about that they came inside and did things that they're gonna fix, and we're getting it fixed. She's one person, you know what I mean? She's 74 years old. I'm worried about her health, and she can't do it on her own.
I'm good health, I'm good.
She is. She's a trooper, but it's getting done. And like I said, I have 3 orders. You can come and you can check for yourself. They will be gone by Friday. All 3 vehicles in the front, and there's going to be some better ones there. I'm there now to stay. I just couldn't stay. And then the stuff that I did do kind of got a little bit more stuff, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But that's not going to happen. And if I could get the dumpster, that would help. That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm mainly here. Can you please help me with a dumpster? He said if I cleared the driveway, I could get a dumpster. I need a dumpster.
but I know they are expensive. And she's on a fixed income, you know?
So is the driveway,
I need a dumpster.
is the driveway
It's
cleared
impossible.
today? I did see that there was a
Yeah,
tow
there's a
truck
driveway, I
there
have room
today.
for a driveway. I mean, yeah, and then the other truck is going to be gone tomorrow, they can plop it right there.
All right. Let me ask you a couple other questions.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and then I'll open up the commission if they have any questions for these ladies. How long have you been involved with the cleanup, you specifically?
Since the last, this 23, this one.
Okay.
And about a decade ago. Like I said, I had the dumpster, I came there and did
And
that.
were you aware of what was happening with code enforcement and that
I
the
have
commission?
been recently, like since, like 22, 23, and I've came there, done things, but there was there's a trailer that's sitting in the front that needs to go. It's tagged and stuff, but it's just that there's things inside of it, and it doesn't look good for, like curb appeal. So that needs to be on the other side of this trailer, but I'm gonna get the stuff out of it. I have someone coming to help with that, because there's a big piece of granite in it, it's very heavy. It was supposed to go inside the house, but it's sitting. That's the problem. There's like he was saying, the construction building stuff, that's getting gone too, because now it's been sitting there so long that it's no good, you know? But she can't do it by herself, and I couldn't be there because I run 2 businesses, and I also take care of an elderly man. But now I've taken some time off work, and I'm gonna be there. So if I could just get a dumpster for the help, that would help, because I can get the stuff out of there. How am I gonna get the stuff out of there? And then I do bags, and then people come, and they rip the bags apart. And then the lady across the street's calling to them, saying, like, and
So let me ask you a question. So what I'm hearing is that you're agreeing that there is a nuisance
Yes,
here
I
and
mean,
that
it's
it
not a
needs to
nuisance,
get
it's just
cleaned.
it's a bit of a problem, but there is no smells, there's no rats, there's no carcasses.
fish. I don't know where that came from.
There is none of that.
Well, that's just part of the
I wouldn't be at the
overall.
house, I'd be scared. I'm scared to death of rats and all these things they're saying. I don't know what, there's no smell. I mean, you can come by yourself. I mean, I don't know where, maybe, I don't know what they're talking about, maybe, like, I
That
don't,
was years ago, anyway, they say. They didn't say nothing about it now.
they're talking about a decade ago.
Well, and they did have pictures from this year
It has been cleaned up
and
plenty
from
of times.
today, from today was presented as well.
When I clean it up this time, it's done, it's a wrap. I'm gonna be coming there, I'm gonna make sure that doesn't happen, because I don't want her to lose her home, I don't want, just don't want that.
So let me ask you a direct question, because I saw you were shaking your head no, and I understand, and I get it. But are you scrapping? Because
No.
I have heard that several times, and I have heard through staff that you had admitted some things were going to go to the scrap yard, and so, did you say that, Ms. Hammond?
Oh, if it's metal, you don't get nothing at the scrapyard anymore.
Once upon a time.
I'll throw it in the car and I'll bring it to the scrapyards right down there, because I'm picking up the debris from the streets and stuff, but I mean, what do I make?
Is it illegal to scrap? Do we have to have a separate?
$3 or $4?
If she's running it as a business.
No,
So,
Business, $3 or $4 for gas? No.
so people are just coming to your property to drop off
not even
the
that.
stuff, or you're bringing it home?
No, I mean, no, if I'm riding around and I'll see like a metal something, I'll pick it up, throw it in the car.
An oven, let's say this, it's an
Yeah.
oven, or like maybe a dishwasher of some sort or something like that. It goes literally from the front yard, and then the next day it's gone.
Yeah.
There is no like storing, like,
Yeah, no.
scrappers you see, and it's like a big,
No.
nothing. You could go to
Can I
the
ask you,
house.
what are you doing with the tires out front?
Yeah. People have been dropping them off.
How do you
I
get
don't
rid
know
of
why.
them?
Yeah, how do you get rid of the tires?
Can I ask, I put them outside, on the corner.
We
right
don't
there.
go through 'em.
I don't know what to do like
Yeah,
that.
we don't pick them up.
And I don't wanna drop 'em off
We can get some guidance on how to.
Waste Pro will pick them up for a fee.
For
They pick 'em up for a
$14 a
fee.
piece. Yeah, this woman has about 50 of them.
That's the problem.
But we got to stop those from coming, and
So is it true that you guys can get rid of 2 a week? Will they pick up 2, like?
I don't know. Is that true, Mr. Forte?
I don't know. Two a week is not going to solve.
So what about if I take them to what about if I get the dumpster? Like, can I put them there?
Are they able? Do you know if they're able to be put into a dumpster, or is it
It
a?
really should be a conversation with Waste Pro, but we can find out for her to see
Yeah.
if they
Okay,
will
could
take
you?
the.
They use them for mulch these days.
Yeah, I see people
So-
do like little, like snakes. They make snakes out of them and all this weird
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, they take the-
and
What,
paint them.
what's preventing you from getting a dumpster?
The cost. because we were told at first, I remember this, he might remember, he said, who was it? That, okay, over here then? She pointed over there. I'm sorry, I don't know who I'm supposed to address. But, I was told, and I was outside, and, if we got the driveway clean, we would be able to get a dumpster, you would help us with it, and we did. I mean, she did, I helped her,
If you
and
want me
now
to
it's
jump in,
completely ready.
several months ago, I went to the property with the chief, and Ms. Hammond informed us that she was scrapping. She was going around the neighborhood. She was bringing stuff from other properties that were trashed and bringing them onto her property. So I had said to her...
She just said that 2 minutes ago.
She's a scrapper. I mean,
I'm not a scrapper. Do I look like a
She-
scrapper?
She just takes little things here and
She
there. We're
tried to come
driving
in and
down
get a
it's
business
gone the
tax
next
receipt
day.
for scrapping. She owned a business that was a scrapping
She did not.
business.
She owns a repair, no, a home.
She called it a home repair, but she did scrap. I'm just telling you what she told me. What she does or what she doesn't do, I don't know. I'm just repeating what she told me.
She's getting a little
Scrapper.
older, so maybe she doesn't, that's why I'm trying to talk.
Senile moment.
Can we let Mr.
And,
Forte talk?
excuse me, what's that?
Can we let Mr. Forte speak?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is could we just let him say what he says? And if you
Yes.
disagree, you're allowed to say that, but just please don't interrupt him.
Oh,
sorry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So at that time, I had offered that the city would pay
That's what
to put a dumpster on the property if she threw out everything that was trash.
How can we do that?
And she said,
Excuse me.
I'm sorry,
please.
I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you.
and she said, well, how do we determine that? And there were broken tiles on the right-of-way, and I said, well, we would start with these tiles. And she said, oh, that's not trash. And I said, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
So
They're gone.
Yep.
The tiles you're talking about?
Ma'am?
They're gone.
So here, is there any further testimony that you would like to say at this point? Just because we are going to have a conversation and this is going to take a lot longer if we keep going back and
Fine.
forth.
I just thought that that's what was gonna happen, and it would have been already done. This would not be we wouldn't be where we're at today if I would have gotten the dumpster. That's all I'm
But
saying.
that was January,
I understand. I know
and you
I
didn't
could.
clear the driveway till this week.
No, we've been clearing it. Ask Waste Management. They've taken plenty.
For sure.
I
You
mean,
want-
we had it from one side to the other
Yeah.
numerous times.
Oh, it's a big difference. You can ask him, right? Isn't it a difference?
Well, excuse me,
No,
ma'am,
up
just
here, up here.
address us.
He's the one that's been to the.
I understand it. We're going to bring him forward. Commissioner Curry wants to bring him forward and ask him a question. So look, a question that I have for you is, we will have discussion on the nuisance and then how to move forward. I think and I hope all of our goal is the same here today, and I think it is. So we all want to get to the same place. But my question is if by any means this commission was to grant you any extra time to completely have this property back up to code, how long would that take you? And that's a very, very serious question.
Honestly,
Yes.
I would say no. I don't want to give her any more than 60. I don't want to give this any more than 60 days, but 30 would be ideal. But if you could do 60, that'd be great. But I don't want to go too far.
Yep.
I want to get it. You know what I mean? The quicker I feel, the quicker the better. For
Okay.
everyone.
We try for 30, but 60 would be great to have.
60 would be
Thank-
awesome, but you know,
But-
there's.
Thank you. Are there any further questions from the commission for
Not right now.
ladies? All right, not right now. Thank you very much. If you could take a seat, and I
Yes,
will
sir.
give you an
Thank you.
opportunity to respond if you want to a little bit later. Commissioner Curry, did you want to call forward
Yeah, I wanted to see if we could speak to Kyle, have him come up and,
our code
Fill us
enforcement
in.
officer, Kyle? If you could come up. Do you have a question for him, Commissioner Curry?
good evening.
Good evening, Commissioner.
I just would like an update from you as far as what you have seen and been dealing with here lately. We don't need to go all the way back, just of late.
So, from the most recent pictures that Mr. Walker showed, the front still has the wrecked vehicles on it. We walked around the side where there is the one photo where you can see the well pumps running against the side of the building. That's the south side of the building. There was a vehicle that was removed from there. The back is still an ongoing issue. There are still boats, trash, debris. I think Ms. Manning's going to pull the photos up, but these are the photos that I went out this morning and took So here's the driveway. Obviously, there's still objects there, there's vehicles. See if you can go one further back. That's where thank you. So this is the front area. This is the driveway, still clutter, debris, hot tubs, swings, boat pieces, pallets, more debris. This is all in the front. This is actually the front of the building right here where you can see.
Oh, this is in the front?
This is the front building right here. So this is the driveway
Okay.
right here. The laser pointer is not as brutal as I would like, but you can see it here. This is the front area. This is the left side of that photo. This is right here where you're looking out. There's Aniston. Vehicles wrecked completely, still there. She said she's got a tow company coming to get them, but it's still ongoing, still present.
That was the one that was towed today, I believe. Is that correct?
That's getting towed tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay.
This one's being towed.
Ordered for it tomorrow.
All right.
And the Nissan and the other one that's on the Pathfinder too, that's there. That green one right there, that one.
Okay, and we'll call you back up in a minute. Thank you.
So this, like I said, this is an example. There was a pickup here. She is making some progress. This is the backyard, more boats, more trash and debris. Unrelated, there was other altercations going on here where they had a fire, where they were burning stuff in the back, trying to make some kind of alleviation to the trash and debris. But it's an ongoing problem. It's being solved, but it is not fixed.
Can I ask you a question, Kyle?
Yes, sir.
And maybe it's more appropriate to Brian, but if you can answer it too. And in our code of ordinances, is there anything about roofs and tarps being on roofs for a period of time?
Yes, and that is actually something that was addressed initially in one of the earlier liens. We have one of the codes in there is for building permit, where she does have roofing damages and issues like that. I believe that was the 2013 special magistrate orders, where the house itself was addressed. She has been dealing with her insurance agency in regards to some kind of monetary compensation. I'm not sure about the specifics of that, but I do know that that is a problem.
Okay, I'll ask them about that in a minute, but, my concern is first and foremost, public health and safety, and seeing how long that roof has been damaged with the tarp is concerning, and I will ask you about that when you come back up. So that is a part of the code enforcement liens, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and as well, actually, I'll ask that question to Brian afterwards. All right, that's all I have for you. Is there any, yes, Vice Mayor?
Kyle,
Sir.
there's numerous liens, $500,000 liens on this house. And in Mr. Walker's presentation, he talked about that some expenses may be allowed to be added to the tax bill. Do you know what cost can be added? Is that a voluntary thing, or does Brian know that?
Actual costs, not fees, not fines, not administrative costs, but if we were to hire a company to go on and hire and bring on a dumpster, those actual costs would be
Right, so
applied to
if
the
the
tax.
city were to provide a dumpster for $300 or whatever the cost is, that could be added
It
to the
has to be
tax
a
bill.
minimum amount of, how much?
1,500?
1,300?
About $1,500. If we have $1,500 in actual costs, that can be placed on the actual tax bill that would have to be paid.
And we already have 750 of actual costs from special masters, correct?
That's not, no, that's fees and fines and
Okay.
liens. So it would be the cost of a dumpster, the cost of hiring a contractor, the
Okay.
labor, the city would pay, that would be an item that
Okay.
you could put on there. So we could easily get to that by hiring a contractor and a dumpster.
Thank you.
Mr. Curry, did you have a question for Kyle?
No, I wanted to know what it looked like. I'm sorry. I wanted to know what it looked like today. When's the last time you were out there?
That's
This
it?
morning.
It's today.
Just
Those are the
today.
pictures.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, duh.
I was out there this morning.
Okay.
And as I said, it has improved slightly.
Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, Kyle. Is there any further questions from this side? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. So, and just, let's get this out of the way. Ex parte communication, I'm going to go first. Just so you're aware, and you may know, I live on Aniston, a few houses down, and so I've seen this house every single day since 2016, and it come and go and grow over time. And I want you to know, through my communication with neighbors, I receive a lot of complaints. This is one of the most things that I get complaints about, especially from our neighborhood and neighbors, and I'm sure you're aware of that. And so this city commission has talked about your specific property from time to time, going back, I mean, at least a year. And at least a year ago, we finally said, what can we do with this project or with this property, and asked staff and legal to come back with us, because, you know, we are very concerned about public health and safety, and in my view, this property is a nuisance. It meets the definition of what we laid out, and so it has to get cleaned up. So what I want to ask tonight, and you kind of touched on it, Mr. Forte, of what can specifically be done here tonight, and maybe for you, Mr. Simpson, from a legal standpoint, if we determine this is a nuisance, then what is the step forward to get the property cleaned up and back into code compliance?
I think you're right on target, Mayor. You need to declare the property a nuisance, offer a time to remedy, and the staff recommended 30 days. They requested 60 days. I have no objection to you offering the 60 days. And at the end of the 60 days, the staff will go back out and inspect the property. And if it's not in compliance, then we would hire a contractor and a dumpster to go on the property and clean it, and then take that cost and we would apply it to the tax bill.
Okay. Anything further to add to that, Mr. Simpson?
So is the deadline 60 days, or at 60 days, does she then get another 30-day notice?
No, you're putting a hard and fast date. You're giving her 60 days to be complete, and on the 61st day, we will go out there and assess it. We will go out periodically to see the progress that they're making, and we'll help them and advise them the best we can.
Commissioner Curry, you had something?
And at 30 days, I believe that would be more than fair. And, you know, the daughter, I sympathize with you. Unfortunately, my mother's not living anymore. She passed last year, but...
Move the microphone in front of you.
Sorry. And you're going to be there for 3 weeks to help her get this all situated. So I would feel a little more comfortable with the 30 days, of allowing them 30 days on the time.
Okay. I was leaning more towards 60 days.
Let's give her 45.
To make sure, so we could cut it in half. I'll call you back up in 1 second. But I want to hear from the commission first. We'll call you back up, and we will have public comment. Mrs. Bullen, if you could just hold that. Yes, sir.
I have no problem splitting the difference with 45 days, if that's something that can...
And I don't have a problem with that.
60 days, 'cause I've been down that road and I've seen how it is, you don't get much done in 30 days.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's like a
Especially the
book
amount of
report.
work
Can I
that
just
needs
say
to be
something?
done. Yes.
You get 6 weeks or 6 months to do a book report, and the night before you end up cramming it in. I think, you know, you set a date.
That's a mess.
One of the options you could do is say, look, we're going to give you 30 days with discretion to the city manager. If there is substantial progress in his sole opinion, that you're making a good faith effort, and he's comfortable in giving additional time. What you're doing is, in essence, authorizing staff to enter on the property and clean it up. In essence, what I'm saying is you can say, look, at least give her so many days, and then we're going to leave it to the discretion of the city manager when to proceed after that 30 days has expired, and leave it to his judgment, or if you're okay with that. Didn't ask him first, should I? But you give him, you know, his judgment to say, look, they're making a good faith effort. We're seeing progress on a daily by daily, whatever basis. But if we get to the 30 days and nothing's occurred, you really don't want to wait another 30 before we can actually do anything.
Great point, Mr.
So we
Simpson,
could,
yeah.
it's kind of saying,
That's a
look, we're
good
going to give you
point.
the 30 days, and I would trust Joe's judgment in discussions with.
Absolutely.
That's great. That
Yeah,
way,
they're making good
that way progress could start happening before then.
Yeah.
But can you say 30 days up to an additional 30 days? I mean,
It's y'all's decision.
I just don't want it to drag out another 6 months. Oh, well, they're making progress, and
Well, I don't think it would be here if staff wasn't to the point of saying we need to do something.
Yes,
So,
correct.
I mean, I also, if you get to the point where there's one item on 60 days, on there, do we really, okay, they're
be
technically
realistic.
non-compliant.
Yeah, but if we get 30 days and there's 2 items missing, we haven't really made progress.
Right.
Right.
So-
Okay.
So that if
So,
it looks like that in 30 days, the next day you'll probably have a front end loader somewhere on the property. So
Yeah.
it can't look like that. So
here's what we're gonna do. Is there any further questions from this commission? What we're gonna do is I'm gonna allow public comment first, because you may want to respond to something there. I don't want to have to get up and get down. So we're gonna go ahead and open up public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this? Yes, Ms. Bolin.
Thank you. Don Boland, 1716 Center Avenue. I'd like to make a couple of different points with regards to this situation, and I understand the property definitely needs to be cleaned up. My understanding is that there is a mortgage on the property. With regards to that situation, of course, as we all know, mortgages require homeowners insurance and taxes to be paid. With regard, you have to deal with the homeowners insurance when you have a mortgage. With regards to a dumpster, if the city were to go ahead and assist with providing a dumpster, or even though if they have to pay for their dumpster, give them the option to deal with the dumpster. Now that the mortgage company was contacted, as far as the nuisance is concerned, that's no big deal. When their homeowner's insurance renews, of course, we know it's all jacked up with regards to the fees are concerned. If you all decide to wind up going ahead and affiliating more fees on top with the non-tangible tax situation, she's going to be in a position not to be able to pay her mortgage with regards to the situation. That is no way to get rid of the owner of the property when you're looking at an $837,000 bill when the home is not worth that. So my recommendation and my insight with regards to the situation is to figure out a method to deal with the dumpster, to allow, once upon a time, you used to put a dumpster on the street for the community to use. See if there's any method of putting a dumpster nearby so that they can go ahead and clear up that property, rid of those tires, rid of those things in a dumpster. Give them 30 days, give them 60 days. But 1 month dumpster rental, I'm not certain how much that is. But there's got to be a method to deal with the idea, and to deal with the intangible tax bill along with the homeowner's insurance with regards to the mortgage. It's just going to eat them out of house and home with regards to it. And that's just not right. That's just, as a residential homeowner in the city of Holly Hill for the years that I've been here, yes, I understand that there's negligence issues and code issues. I got a negligence nuisance on my property right now that's called a fence. But my belief is that the dumpster option should be provided to give them the opportunity, and in the event that there's no compliance and they don't fill that dumpster and clean up that property, move forward with regards to putting the lien and putting it in the intangible tax situation, which would force them out of the residence totally. And then what would the city do? They would take a buyer and wipe out the fees. That's all I've heard for 3-4 years with regards to it. Oh, yeah, we got a new buyer, let's eliminate those fees. What good is code enforcement if you can't enforce your liens? And when you're taking an $837,000 claim a lien at this point, after all these years, you're never going to pay on it, you're never going to get the money. The house isn't worth that much, the mortgage isn't that much. So that's my 2 cents, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bolin. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak under public comments for this? Seeing none, I'll close public comments, and I just want to make sure we're clear here, Ms. Bolin, that this commission is not trying to remove anybody from their home. I want that to be clear. I want that in the record. I want to be very clear on this.
Thank you for
As
that, Mayor.
I started, I spoke about, I think all of our goals are the same here, and I hear what you're saying. And I agree that, and I will just throw this out to the commission, that I do believe that we should go ahead and provide this dumpster. If we could fund that, I don't know how we can fund that out of reserves or whatnot.
Payment out of the solid waste reserve?
Because what happens is if they do not go ahead and get everything done, and we have to move forward with what we talked about because we are declaring it a nuisance tonight, I believe that's the way I'm reading this commission, is that we'll have to order that dumpster anyways. Let's go ahead and order that in good faith for them, help them with that. Now, I'm assuming, so the way that I understand it is there's a deposit made on that dumpster, Waste Management drops it off, they fill it up, then you call when it's filled up, they take it out, and then they charge you for whatever that dump fee is, and then they can bring it back. And I don't believe that deposit is again, I think it's one time. So then we are just paying for just every time it's taken out and then per tonnage. So, so that's where I'm at on this. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to understand your proposal. So you're proposing that we provide a dumpster and dump it 27 times for free?
I'm proposing.
Because if she doesn't come into compliance, we're going to order the dumpster.
Right.
We're going to pay for 27 dumps, and we're going to put it on her tax bill. And she may not pay it, but her mortgage company will pay it. And Ms. Bowling talked about insurance. I would venture to guess there's no voluntary homeowners insurance on that policy. It's probably forced placed by the mortgage company. There's not an insurance company in the world that would insure that home in that state of disrepair. This is a classic case.
Especially with the
It's a
roof.
classic case of hoarder, and we've all seen the TV shows on Discovery. It doesn't get better by itself. People are backed into a corner. Usually the municipality, local enforcement has to come in and correct it. And unless the behavior is treated with some psychological conditioning, it comes back. And so it's been repeated and repeated and repeated, and I'm all in favor of us ordering the dumpster, but I'm also in favor that the taxpayers need to be compensated for that. The neighborhood has been putting up with that far too long. I'm okay if we put the deposit down, because we'll get the deposit back. I'm not okay with paying for those dumps. You're going to pay $600 or $700 every time that dumpster's dumped, and it's going to become thousands of dollars that we never recoup on top of something that's been going on for 10 or 12 years.
Commissioner
And on
Curry?
top of that, I like the idea, but my concern is setting a precedence. And that would be my concern with this, is setting a precedence. So if somebody else has an issue, code enforcement goes out and writes them up for having stuff on their property, and it's a big issue, and so they're going to come to us and, well, you've done this before, why can't we get a dumpster? So that's my main concern, Mayor. I like the idea, but I'm afraid that we would be setting precedents for future. And
I
that
hear you.
concerns me.
I hear you.
Can I get 2 dumpsters?
Yeah, we're gonna call you up, but quickly, is there any further? Yes.
Another bit of a problem I've noticed with dumpsters too.
And speak right into the microphone.
You gotta make sure, you gotta see the problem with dumpsters too, you gotta make sure that dumpster is not put to where it could be publicly accessed, because it'll fill up pretty fast from a lot of other people that wanna just dump their household garbage. Like if you put a dumpster out in the street, people will go by and just fill it up pretty quick.
Okay. All right, so I did promise you would come up and you can have your closing comments, so you can come ahead. If there's anything you need to add to this before we go ahead and make our
Just
decision.
wanted to say, like I said, I did this in 2008 with the dumpster, and it actually, I mean, it was a 26 cubic foot, and it was dumped twice, and it got everything, and it was a lot of things because we moved from, she moved from a place that was, it was, the river came in Port Orange when there was a hurricane from her old house, so she had to move really fast. And I got a lot of this stuff. I got a lot of the stuff.
Can't hear? Okay.
I got a lot of the things out, and it really did. It was 2 dumps, and I believe.
It's not going to be any more than 2.
It's not going to be 27. It's not, we don't have, no, it's not a, I shouldn't have used the word hoarder. She is not a hoarder. That she doesn't have skeletons and cats underneath blankets. And I mean, them shows are pretty graphic. She's not there. I'm on scene. That's all I can say. You guys don't know me from a hole in the wall, but just give me a chance to show you I'm there. I took off work for this, and I can assure you it is bothering me as much as it is bothering the neighbors and everyone else, and I'm going to take care of it. I've taken off work for this.
Okay.
And I came here to be here for her, to talk for her, because I wanted to make sure that I was hoping to get somewhere with you guys to let you know that this is not going to continue.
All right. Is it Kristen?
Christy.
Christine?
Christy. And I was once a homeowner. I
Christy.
ISTI.
Oh,
Christy.
Christy,
I
okay.
mean, I know how it is. I know how it is to have people around you. You have to be respectful. You have to honor thy neighbors. It's just what it is. I want her to be back like it was before at one point in time, when like my grandfather owned it. It was beautiful.
And
It's
thank
gonna
you,
be there.
Christy, for being here. Thank you, Ms. Hammond. Thank you for
Thank you for giving us a
acknowledging that
chance if
there is a problem here and that we have to get this cleaned up.
I do understand.
Is there anything further you want to provide?
Better than it was, I know that, but it's gonna get better.
And it's gonna be
I'm gonna
100%.
get that award again.
There we go. We'd
my plan.
we'd love to see that. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Yep. Okay, so now, this commission, we need to take action on this, and I hear what you're saying, Vice Mayor, and you're right, and Commissioner Curry, I hear about precedents, but this is absolutely a unique occurrence. Nothing has risen to this level, and so I believe that it is very unique, and I just believe that we should at least, and maybe, Vice Mayor, maybe you'd be more apt to, and I don't know, but we do the deposit and say up to 2 dumps. After that, they have to pay for it. I'm just throwing something out there, and if we disagree, we disagree, but that's where I'm at. But I'm also at, with the recommendation of Mr. Simpson to declare a nuisance here tonight. That's where I'm at. And then give 30 days to come into compliance, and hopefully that is all that is needed. Hopefully, Mr. Forte doesn't even have to consider a 30-day extension, but if you're, a couple things away from getting there, then it'll be under his discretion to maybe give you an extension of up to 30 days. So that's where I'm at, Vice Mayor.
I'm in agreement that it needs to be declared a nuisance. I'm also in agreement that we need to give them 30 days to come into compliance and leave the rest to Joe's discretion. I'm also willing to order a dumpster and pay for up to 2 dumps, as long as she agrees to a payment schedule for the next 12 months to be added to her utility bill. And if she fails to complete that within 12 months, we'll add it to her tax bill.
For the dumpster, you mean?
For the cost of the 2 dumps, the dumpster and the 2 dumps. I don't think we should do it for free. I think we should work with her. She says she can't afford it, so I'm willing to order a dumpster and pay up to 2 dumps. If that's all it's going to take, I think it's going to take more than 2 dumps. There's boats and all kinds of stuff there. But if they're comfortable with 2 dumps, I'm comfortable fronting the money with a 12-month payment, 12 equal months to pay it back, 12 equal payments to pay it back. And if she's not square at the end of 12 months, it goes on her tax bill.
Are we able to do that?
The balance of the bill is $1,500.
Well, a couple thoughts there. One, I can't answer the question, can we add it to the utility bill mechanically? Can you? Okay, I would not recommend you cutting off utility service if they don't pay that as a collection method, because if they pay for their utility but don't pay that aspect of it, I don't recommend cutting off service. I think there's a practical issue, and we may not be able to get it on this upcoming, not this current year, but the next year's tax bill, because there's a notice provision and time to get it on the tax bill. So if it's not paid within a year of today, then it would probably be on the following year's tax bill, just so everybody knew that's when it would actually probably go on. And it would have to meet the requirements of that process plus the dollar amount. But we could either do a collection on the utility bill divided 1/12 every month. If that can physically be done and added to the bill, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. You had a question?
I just had, I hadn't said much about it. Obviously, we're gonna we're gonna claim it's a nuisance, that's not gonna be debatable. The 30 days, yeah, it's either gonna get done or it isn't. There's not gonna be two pieces left. I mean, it's either, it's gonna be completely in compliance or not. It's gonna either just go all the way or no way, like Kyle says, like very little progress. That's usually how it works. I'm okay with the dumpster and the two dumps, and just to be debating my old buddy since we started this 5 hours ago in debate, I'll go ahead and say that we should pick up a couple. I think it's gonna take a lot more than that, so I think they're gonna have their hands full anyway. But, just two. But I think you're gonna, and I also recommend calling some of these junk removal places and tell them everything you can have for free. Maybe they'll help you out, you know, because one man's junk is another man's treasure. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Commissioner Johnson?
I pretty much agree. I think we got to start somewhere, and I think if we get started and make good progress, we'll look at it and say we're on the right road, and just make sure that you don't, anything back up on it.
Okay.
Don't start recycling.
Mr. Forte, you had something to add?
I think instead of putting it on the utility bill, because that will jeopardize, a delinquent bill is a delinquent bill, and we turn the water off for that. So instead of doing that, I would rather see if we can't invoice her on a monthly basis and just send an invoice through finance. I think we should be able to do that. And so I'd rather not put it on the utility bill, because that would jeopardize turning off utilities, and that's not the purpose.
What do you think of that, Vice Mayor?
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's a compromise. I mean, we could drop the hammer and be
Yeah.
there in 30 days and take care of it and send
Do it
them the
now
whole
and give
bill.
them 2 days, yeah.
But
So, okay, so then, Mr. Simpson, do we need to include in our motion, I know we have to declare a nuisance, give 30 days.
If you want me to make a recommended motion.
Please do, because I don't know if we need to
Right.
put the dumpster part into it or
Yeah,
not.
I probably would.
Okay.
I would recommend you make a motion that based on the evidence presented, that you find the property, address of the property.
1625 Aniston.
1625 Aniston to constitute a public nuisance, that you direct that, you direct that the property owner bring the property into compliance and abate the nuisance within 30 days. If, based on the inspection of city staff, it is determined that the property is not in compliance, then the city manager will have discretion to allow up to an additional 30 days for compliance, pending solely in his discretion whether or not there has been a good faith effort to come into compliance by the property owner, that the city is authorized to provide for a deposit and to pay for up to 2 dumps of a dumpster. We didn't talk about the size of the dumpster, but I would say
The
a
largest
dumpster
we
as
have.
large as one that will fit on the
Roll-off.
property.
Yep.
And that will be repaid by the property owner in 12 equal installments. If that is not collected that way, that the city is authorized to seek other means of collection. And I would probably add to it that you ask city staff to see if there are other charitable or other means to provide, they can reach out to, whether it be churches or not-for-profits, that might be able to help and provide some assistance to the property owner. I
Great.
think that might cover everything.
And
Well said.
Mayor, I'll bring forward, as eloquently stated by the city attorney,
It'll be a 20-yard dumpster.
a
20
20-yard.
yard, is that the
dumpster.
largest they have?
30 yards the largest, but I don't think it'll fit on the property.
Oh, it won't fit?
Yeah.
20, that's big. Mine's like
20
4 yards. That's
Okay.
5 times the size of Sorrento's dumpster.
Yeah. All right, do we have a motion on the table?
Yeah,
All right, so we have a motion made by Commissioner Curry as stated by Mr. Simpson. Do we have a second to that motion? We have a second by Vice Mayor Penny. I will open the floor for discussion if needed.
I don't need.
Okay, I just want to say once again, for the record, not trying to get you out of your house by any means. We're all here trying to get to the same goal, and this commission has been very, very aggressive on code enforcement across the board, and many, many properties are coming into compliance, and that's all that it's we're looking to do. So I hope you see that the city tried to work with you here, and I hope that you do get this done within 30 days. We don't have to consider anything else. So thank you very much. With that, is there anything further before we vote?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you for being here to help her.
Thank you. Okay, now we're moving to our public hearings. We have number 1, Resolution 2023-R-58. Mr. Simpson, I know you got to pull it up.
Yeah, I thought we were done, sorry.
Not yet.
Good thing we started
In
at,
overtime.
good thing we started at 4 o'clock.
Well, yeah, I know.
Now I got it. All right, apologize for that. Regular. Okay. Resolution 2023-R-58 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, adopting an official list identifying city-owned real property deemed appropriate for use as affordable housing pursuant to Section 166.0451 Florida statutes, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, we'll open this up to the public. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the commission? Yes, ma'am.
Don Boland, 1716 Center Avenue in Holly Hill. With regards to the situation, I understand that the governor went ahead and did the Senate bill related to the Affordable Housing Act as far as things are concerned. I also understand that the 2 pieces of property with regards to Walk Road and Fountainhead are available for the confidential, whatever the project may be. The point is that the nuisance property, the governor's situation, when you take a look at the governor's situation, the 1 mile radius and the land use and density, it all affiliated with the lawsuit that was against the city in 2020. With this afternoon, it has come to my attention with regards to the issues that I've had with regards to the fence flooding the property, and the 50 CA case. The court reporter who's committed perjury stating that she was available for the hearing that was conducted wasn't at the hearing that was conducted.
Are you speaking on this item, Ms. Boland?
2 weeks
No.
to extend the situation as far as the
Ms. Boland, you have to speak about this item.
This item has to do with regards to the governor.
Affordable housing.
The governor with regards to the affordable housing project. It's a combination of both. The reason why the Senate bill was gone ahead and let's go ahead and see what the affordable housing is for the cities and the state. He mentioned the land use and density he believed that this Mirage project had something to do with the city property, with the within the 1 mile radius.
But that's not
Going ahead and saying,
affordable housing.
You need to go ahead and deal with the idea of the, build what you can wherever you want to build it. The thing about it is this afternoon, I was informed that the attorney that we pay on a constant basis, requested an extension for the lawsuit that's filed with regards to the fence that's issued.
Okay, Ms. Boland, I have to stop you here. We're speaking about, this is specifically to declaring what properties are eligible for affordable housing. There's one property if you would like to discuss that.
And the one that's
We're
why
not
I asked
discussing your
about the
property
Third
and the
Street
fence.
property that was answered before. The reason for the extension, I have no choice but to go ahead and deal with the certified mailing to hold vicariously liable
Okay.
the RV park due to the fact that the agreement was signed with
This
land use.
has nothing to do with this subject.
Thank you.
This is not
Thank
even
you, Ms.
part of the agenda
Thank you, Ms.
item.
Thank you, Ms. Boland.
Held off earlier tonight.
I know, Ms. Boland, you are allowed to say this all you want in public comments, and you are welcome to do it, and we listen as much as you say on Facebook. We don't listen. We do, and we provide you that. Now, I will ask you to please, ask you to sit down. Thank you. You've had your speech. All right, the floor is still open to anyone else that would like to speak on this item tonight. Yes, sir.
You're going to get a suit?
Yeah, new suit.
It's not becoming to threaten people in a chamber.
Or anyone
Mr. Legary, floor is yours.
Jim Legary, 342 Burley. Is this, this is part of the synergy situation?
It's a property over there. It doesn't have to do with Synergy, though. It's the property we own.
It's the property that Synergy
Wants to buy.
Correct.
wants to buy.
Yes.
Yep.
But we're not doing this because
Yeah.
of synergy or the agreement. This is a requirement by state law that we declare, we put a list together of properties owned by the city that may be suitable for affordable housing.
It's a requirement by the state that we just declare it.
So the recommendation that we sell this to Synergy?
Has nothing to do with that. No, sir. It's,
I apparently don't comprehend any of it.
I'll explain it to
The governor
you.
has required us to give him a list of all properties the city owns that might be suitable for affordable housing. And this is the only property that we currently own that could be suitable. for
Because we still own that property. We haven't sold it.
So we have to report it to him.
And he will, of course, help us a lot in the future.
It's the Live Local Act, and they just require us to put it out there publicly, what land we own that could become someday affordable housing. So that's it.
I see.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this item here tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Curry, a second from Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion needed? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Now we move to ordinance 2023-0-3063 for second reading. Mr. Simpson.
Ordinance number 2023-0-3063 by title only for second and final reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, annexing by voluntary petition approximately .83 acres identified as parcel number 4242-31-01-0291 and 4242-31-01-0290, contiguous to the City of Holly Hill, redefining boundaries of the City of Holly Hill to include said property and the adjacent right-of-way of North Nova Road and Old Kings Road, directing the city clerk to file the ordinance with the clerk of the circuit court, with the chief administrative officer of Volusia County, and with the Department of State, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? All right. Brian?
Yes, Mayor, there's really been no changes with regard to this annexation request, 1872 and 1888 North Nova Road. The only thing that has occurred between first reading and this reading is that the county manager has been notified, the county commission has been notified as required by law, and there have been 2 newspaper notifications that have been published. Staff continues to recommend that both parcels be annexed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. All right. Are there any further questions for staff? Seeing none, thank you for your work on this, Mr. Walker. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll close public participation. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion for approval from Commissioner Johnson, a second from Commissioner Danio. Any discussion needed? Just welcome to Holly Hill. We'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move to communications. Mr. Forte, what do you have for us?
Alex, we'll pull that picture up. A couple meetings ago, we talked about the wording, the Welcome to Holly Hill over at Pictona. And this recommendation said to put script on the left side and put the Holly Hill font from our logo on the right side. And that's what that is up there. So I guess, maybe we had a certain vision in our minds that the reality doesn't look like what we thought. But that's script on one side and the block lettering font from our logo on the right side. So want to get your...
Mayor.
I did not design this.
I believe that I missed that meeting, so I apologize. I I think it would look better all in one font, and I think the script looks really good.
It's not script.
It's
It's not cursive.
it's not cursive, it's,
Yeah, it,
Okay, whatever font that is. Thank you. It looks better than the block lettering.
Actually,
Holly Hill and block is more
Maple.
what we're used to seeing now.
patented or copyrighted.
I don't know.
well, the
I just don't like,
welcome to looks welcoming.
yes.
The Holly Hill looks institutional. I think it should be one font,
Yeah.
whether it's the one on the left or the one on the right, or something in between. I know that's exactly what we told Joe to do. He did it. It just doesn't look cohesive to me. It doesn't flow right. And the mayor's probably the closest to a graphic designer of anyone up here, so.
Yeah. What do we want them to do?
I
Could
missed
we,
that meeting.
could we do it two ways? Could we have them do the left font on all of it and the right font on all of it, and then we could just.
Then we could see.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
I like that idea.
You started out kind of with the right font on all of it, and you didn't like it.
Yeah, but it was more, that was more like Arial, you know, font.
We talked about it,
Like,
but it was gonna.
very,
Yeah.
And,
'Cause, like-
bland.
and maybe separate the welcome and the two, just.
Because the font on the
11
left,
more.
the font on the left is a
Tasteful.
different font, but it's actually a smaller font than the one on the right.
And that does
Yeah.
look welcoming.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean,
And did we talk about putting comma FL up there?
Yes, we did. It would throw it off balance.
Did we throw it?
Could we see it with all,
10.
whatever the font is to the left, all of,
Ask them to do whatever you want. I'm sure they're
Yeah,
just
we
going to
didn't
tack
talk
it onto
about-
the bill when they.
We weren't gonna put the emblems
No,
on both sides of Holly Hill?
on both sides of the court?
No, on both sides of the
Oh.
name, like,
I don't know. I didn't think so.
No.
I can tell you, this is gonna be, I watched a lot of it last year, on YouTube. I went back and watched, and that is shown a lot. A
Font on
lot.
the left looks better. If I had to pick right now, I'd pick the one on the left, but I'd like to
That's
see
what
them
I
both.
would pick.
Yeah.
I think the left looks better.
And I think now's a appropriate time too to bring up my idea of putting our logo on the court on the sides, as you can see.
he doesn't
if-
want stuff
If
on
you
the
scroll
court.
down. I understand what Rayner wants, but
Yeah.
frankly, you know, the YMCA CEO also wants a lot of the city, and we're going to be very abrupt with him on what we want. I just, look, it has to be said, we own Pictona, and I'm sick and tired of us sitting up here and saying, what do you want, Rayner? I'm not going to go for that anymore. I'm just not. And Joe, I know you know that I feel this way. I'm not, and I hope Rayner comes and talks to this commission, because I'm telling you right now, that's our facility. And if we want the best for City of Holly Hill, when those darn tournaments are on ESPN, we can have that logo there. I'm allowing them to put Pictona's logo there too. So look, I'm to the end of a long meeting, and I'm just sick and tired of hearing what Rayner wants, because frankly, I don't really care. He donated a lot of money. He does a lot of good there. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but I'm saying that this commission needs to buck up and tell him what we want there, period. That's what I'm saying. So don't tell me, oh, well, Rayner doesn't want it. I don't care what
I
Rayner
didn't
wants.
say he was right
I
or
really
wrong. I
don't.
just said that
I
was-
really, truly don't.
Yeah, no.
So that's where I'm at. Yes, sir.
I hear you. I hear your passion and your frustration. And
Very.
my dad gave me the advice. I'll give it to you. People can't tell whether you're passionate or angry.
Yeah,
I usually
I've
tell
gotten
people that
that
all
a
the
lot,
time.
too.
So, but I hear what you're saying, but I do believe the boxes, those little, see the thing that says, I can't see what it says, bowls or whatever it says on those blue curtains? Conway or whatever it says over to the left.
Sponsors.
Those sponsors are more
They're all
visible, I think, than the court. And if we said, hey, we want every third one to say City of Holly Hill, that might be more visible.
Right, and we can have that conversation too.
Yeah, I mean, we can have that conversation, but, so.
Yep.
And Mayor, as a player, I would have fear that paint might cause me, might be a little slippery, or I would have,
Off the court, though.
It would be in the green area.
Yeah.
In the back or on the sides? Because in the back,
Corner to
that's
the
where I'm standing to serve.
No, not the back. on the
Okay,
side.
so on the sides,
And when
okay.
you look at it on ESPN, 90% of the coverage is looking down this way, and you got players on this side and this side. So
Right.
if you had
I
one up
wouldn't
and
want
down.
it on either end because I would be afraid that might mess some players up.
That's just where I'm at. And if the commissioner disagrees with me, that's fine, but I just don't want it to be that Rayner disagrees with us. Please don't bring that back up to me again, honestly, because I'm willing to hear them, because I know that he runs the place, but it has to be said that the citizens of Holly Hill own this. And if we didn't, then they wouldn't have donated that money. They could have purchased it from us, and we wouldn't have sold it to them. So I will entertain that talk up here as a commission. Mr. Forte, you know that I've said this to you for how many years now, and I'm putting my foot down now. So that's where I'm at. So I will have that conversation, John, if we decide we want it as on those blue, whatever they are.
Yeah, and sometimes for the tournaments, they have those little, like triangle things that have the sponsors on them all around the sides.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
I don't know,
So,
might have the same effect.
Joe, can you bring us back two options of those? The one with the script, whatever we're calling it, and then the other blocky letter as well?
On both sides.
Yeah.
Two options.
All the same.
Unless we just want to go ahead and just say, hey, let's just go with the welcome to font.
The welcome to is
It's,
Yeah, because like Joe said,
Calmer.
he had it up there the first time and we didn't think much of it. So we're just kind of.
Well,
but,
it was different font at that time too, though.
but Joe,
Yeah, it was more like Arial.
I think the welcome and the two are just a smidge too close.
Yeah, we'll have to move it over.
Well, here's the other thing. Isn't there a big tournament coming in like November?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I've been pressing
So
him,
why don't we
let's
do-
get it done.
What?
If you don't like it, it's only paint.
Yeah, we can read.
I didn't hear you.
I like the one to the left.
All right, I'll bring it back for the next meeting, hopefully.
If it's gonna keep costing us, why don't we just do it?
Why don't we just
That can't cost
decide?
anything to do that.
That's what he's just
I
said.
don't know what you guys are gonna do.
Come on.
I haven't
That's a
gotten the
proof.
estimate yet.
That's approved? All right.
Takes a guy 3 seconds
Yeah,
to
you
do that.
can't charge for a proof.
I don't know what they're gonna do. They won't give me an estimate until I
You
give them
have
a
to
final.
proof itself worthy of a cost, right?
All right, so do you have anything further for us? No? And can we just agree, we just go ahead, or do you want us to bring it back both ways, John? Is
I'm
that?
good with choosing the one to the left.
I'm fine with that.
What about you?
If I had to choose right now, I would choose the one on the left for both sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want me to bring back the two options?
Just, if it's gonna cost more money.
I don't know if it's gonna cost some money. I say that in jest.
If it's free, then yeah, just bring it back. If it's gonna cost money, just go with
And-
the cursive looking.
And make sure they're
It's
gonna
not
be able to
cursive.
do it before November.
I don't know if I can promise that.
Oh, but you need to get with them
I will-
because
I will-
that's important.
I will certainly ask.
Since this isn't a voting thing, can you just, once you get it back, can you just email it to the commission and individually
Yeah.
respond, and then you take your
As
tally? and
long
do
as
it?
3 of you agree to something.
Yeah, right. 3 of us have to agree. There's
Right
only-
now, at 8:43, we're all gonna agree.
Yeah.
I'll agree to anything. I haven't eaten.
After 6 hours.
Me either.
5 hours of whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so tired, I'm willing to leave in the rain right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's
Pouring out.
pouring down too.
I don't care.
It's within his purchasing authority.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know how much it's gonna cost.
Maybe we should order in a pizza.
Maybe. Maybe
Okay,
somebody should have
Mr.
brought a pizza.
Mr. Forte, do you have
still
anything
on.
else for us?
That's all, Mayor. That's it.
That's it?
You could have brought dinner.
Okay, Mr. Simpson?
Nothing.
All right. And so, I'll just quickly update you. I'm going to really try to not take much of your time. Just wanted to make sure, though, that the city commission was aware of a water billing issue of an erroneous due date that was put out, investigated by staff. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Joe, for looking into that, as well as Jason for jumping right on that. We determined it was human error of how it was put into the billing system as opposed to actually, no, I'm sorry, not into the billing system, the mailing system. But in the billing system, nothing was wrong, and I believe I'm still correct on that. Nobody was charged because the due date was wrong, and it was fixed immediately when it was brought to their attention.
Yeah, I received a correction email, I think like the next day or something. It was pretty quick.
Good, good. And so moving forward, look, mistakes happen, and especially with human error. So moving forward, Michelle is going to, as I understand it, review that data before it goes out. Is that correct, or is it a member of your staff? You could just.
Yes, I'm going to do that, but we're always going to have a second person.
Okay. So for the record, she said we'll always have a second person review, so we're good there. That worked itself out. Thank you very much to your staff for doing that, and Mr. Forte, I texted you at like 11 p.m. and you responded, so I appreciate it. And then I wanted to quickly update you on the mayor's roundtable. Obviously, today we passed an ordinance that was asked of us by the mayor's roundtable. But just so this commission's aware, I did broach the subject with them, and I ruffled some feathers of why we meet so often to discuss things that really could have just been an email. For instance, like hurricane preparation or an update on very minor things, and it just kind of felt like we were meeting just to meet, which I am wholly against. And so I brought that up, and especially just because, and I said this in my talk, is that I report back to the meetings that I attend to the city commission and have to justify why we have Mr. Forte there at, we pay him salary, but hourly rate, was there all morning and several times a year when there's things that he already knew, we've already been briefed on, we've already known. So once upon a time that board used to get together for regional issues and really made an impact. And we have since I've been on it, namely so, even though I was against it, was the gas tax that came up. That was a healthy discussion that we had at that level. Some infrastructure talks. During COVID, it was a great time to come together to talk about what everybody was doing, and also to get all of the state players in the same room to give us all the same information. And so that was good, but I just wanted to make you all aware in case you hear it, because I did have to say that. And then the last thing that I had was there was a great chamber breakfast with Carl Persis and the principals of our two schools here. I thought that was really great, and I know all of you are aware, but just so the public is aware as well, there is talk about taking our pre-K through 8 school and making it primarily just an elementary school. And Mr. Forte and I met with Mr. Vogus, the principal of Holly Hill School, and Carl Persis, and asked them to make us aware of every little nuance at any meeting that's happening with that, so we can update our citizens. But also I express my support of that changing to an elementary school. As many of us know, the middle school is primarily where most of the problems are caused there at the school. So, and I think it'll help our test scores. I think younger kids will be able to focus more on their academics. At least that's the hope. So we can improve that. And then as well, it will take down the population there at the school as well. So there will be less kids going there, more focus on the kids. So I'll update you if we ever have any more on that, but that's all I have here for us tonight. We're going to start with Vice Mayor Penny. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got a call today, and I told the lady I'd mention it at the commission meeting. From Miss Gatson. Her family lives over on Jarecki. They came before us a couple months ago talking about drainage, and her dad used to do all the Christmas decorations over there and everything.
Yep.
But their neighborhood has no trucks posted on their road. And she said she's constantly out yelling at the septic trucks from Deltona Septic. Said they're constantly going between Walker and LPGA, and there are these big signs that say no trucks allowed in this neighborhood. So
Deltona or Daytona?
No, it's on Walker Street.
It's on Walker Street. I think it's 500 Walker.
No, it's Daytona Septic.
No, it's Deltona.
Why did they change the name?
I always thought that was Daytona.
There may be Daytona over there, but the trucks say Deltona on them.
Oh,
I have
I'm
seen
saying,
those.
this Daytona Septic
Silver
is
and
on the
blue.
building.
We will, code enforcement will contact the business and ask them to stop going down there.
So,
They're pumping septic tanks on your record.
No.
she said there's 3 or 4 every morning and 5 or 6 every afternoon coming by there, and I'm not sure what the problem is, but there's a sign there, and I told her I'd bring
It's
it.
actually Woody Septic Daytona Plumbing is what the name of it.
I don't know, she sent me a picture of the truck, and it said
I've heard
Deltona Septic on the side of it.
They'll say Deltona, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Vice
Woody, yeah.
Commissioner Curry.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have is to tag on to what you were saying about the school. I probably would not have been in support of that. However, hearing the principal and Mr. Persis speak and knowing the concerns that they have there, also that their plan is to utilize some of that space for more Head Start, which is an awesome thing, and to get kids started early. And then some adult education they were looking at possibly doing there. So I am in support of it now that I was at the breakfast and heard everything. And I thought it was very educational to sit there and listen to. It was a long breakfast, but it was very informative, and that's all I have.
Not as long as this meeting.
Yeah, really.
There we go. Yes, Commissioner Danio.
I was just going to say congratulations with our new fire truck. I made a note earlier about that being great, and our new firehouse, looking forward to that. The grant was kind of nice earlier too for the books. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh, yeah, we still got 3 hours of praise and worship to go home to, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, man, we've been here long enough.
Tomorrow's a TPO meeting, so I had anything to bring up. I heard they cranked up a new fancy train that's supposed to run from from Orlando to Miami or something.
79 mile an hour.
Crashed, so
How'd they come up with that?
Wow.
that's what I heard.
It crashed already?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, 5 people or something got killed, right? You know what you heard?
Like 15
No.
Wait,
John,
what?
The speed is 125.
The average speed was 79.
Yeah, the averge, but
And they said there's already been 100 people, 99 people that got killed in the last, since it started or something.
I think a couple of days ago.
I think it just started on Friday.
It just started up pretty quick.
Right line.
Now, they
That's what it's
have
called,
said
Right
that,
Line. Right line.
well, Brightline has been running in the Miami-Fort Lauderdale area, and I read
Yeah.
an article where they said they
Now
have,
they go
to Orlando Airport, but they have had in the Miami to Fort Lauderdale area killed people, but most of them, if not all of them.
They run them over.
suicides.
Yeah.
You know, but I hadn't heard yet that there was
I
a,
heard it was, I heard the little kids in the back.
hadn't heard that one. Must have been today.
That's what I heard about it. But here's the TPO meeting tomorrow. The other thing I remember, it was a nice breakfast up in Riviera the other day. I brought about this to school about they're gonna, looks like they're probably trying to put a lot of their vacant property up to where they can put affordable housing on it as well. It's kind of like a product. That's the kind of thing, I think, because I heard that Volusia County got a lot of federal funding for affordable housing. And then I heard the other, something about somebody say something about they was hired, but kind of brought up issue, and then, we had that memorial for smoking. I remember that was the first job I had when I come to Florida. And that was quite an experience working for him. And he was obsessed with things in Indianapolis. So the month of Indianapolis is on Memorial Day in May. So in April, he was a miserable guy to work with because he wanted you to work all the time. And whenever you said you was tired, the first thing he'd say, "What do you mean you're tired? You haven't even worked around the clock one time yet." That was one of his old sayings. So he's used to it. His next meeting might be longer.
Yep. All right, is that everything, Commissioner Johnson? All right, is there any further business for this commission?
Nope.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.